Welcome back to Whose Views. We'd like to take this opportunity to apologise to our viewers in London and the southeast of England. It must be awful for you. And now, here's JT and the Whotastic panel.
If you know, you know. We're going to be coming back to that story a little bit later on in this edition of your big show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sunday, the 18th of January, 2026. It's genius. It's absolutely genius. Yes, it's Whose Views. It's headlines. It is indeed your big show for Sunday. How are you all? It's good to see you. Lots to get through this evening, including that. As I say, we are going to come back to that a little bit later on, so do stay with us. Oh, Alex Kurtzman and RTD. Good God, what are they like? Anyway, yeah, have you heard, everybody? Oh, yes, indeed. David Tennant's coming back to Doctor Who again. Or so the rumour goes. You've probably seen the rumour, but it was enough for one of our favourite journalists in one of our favourite woke newspapers to print something. Well, at least she's earned some money. Yes, we're going to be looking at that. Indeed, Nerdrotic has just beaten Star Trek. How fantastic is that? That's coming up in the show. And is the BBC's future with this very platform, with YouTube? Lots coming up on that subject as well. Let's bring the guys on, shall we, everybody? Because, yes, they are here as ever. I've got Third Doctor Ian and I've got Paul. Wow, here we go then, guys.
Hello.
Hello, good to see you. And happy
And you.
Before we get into anything, as usual, I'd like to say a huge thank you to everybody that's been getting in touch with us here at Whose Views this week, including Michael Frost, Rory Stanage, Craig Sims, Problem Being, Bill Lowry, Mark Milford, Sean Cryer, Philip Tassini, to PTA himself, to Domgo, Stephen Braddock, to Giorgio Siana, Eddie Day Riley, to Mudcrab, to Judge Joseph Dredd, and to Matt N. Spiel. Thank you very much for all your comments and all your messages this week. And also, finally, a huge big congratulations from me to the Darlington nurses. Well done, you guys. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. Great news. Another victory for bloody common sense here in the United Kingdom as we go from one lunatic accusation to another. If you don't know what the if you're outside the UK and you don't know what the Darlington nurses are, you'll have to Google it. So yes, thank you very much for joining us, everybody. Lots of you in the chat already. So let's have a look to Georgia Donald. Look, good evening, panel and chat. Good evening to you. The Mecronon is with us. Paul is going all giddy on us. Have you seen that?
I'm glad it's not 3D. I'd be ducking underneath his fingers at this point. It's scary.
Listen, I was having trouble hearing you there, guys. So I don't know what's going on with my connection here. No idea. I updated my phone yesterday and now regret it. So that's what's going on with that. So for some reason, I'm not getting to hear what's going on. So let's see what happens. We have to come in and out again. We'll see what happens. Okay.
Kirsty says
for a Dutch angle.
Kirsty says, "What a lovely finger, Paul." So just being noticed.
Yeah, well, I'm saying nothing. Okay, so
we've got Mecronons with us. Hello, Mecronon. How are you?
So I can't hear JT. That's all from my end. So I don't know if that's affecting anyone else.
You'll have to go out and come back in.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got Legion of James saying, "Tennant, take the hint and jog on." I don't know what that means. Okay. Connor's with us saying, "Hi, hello, lovely. How are you?" We've also got Rory Neal. I had a bad week, woke at 2 a.m. by my cat with blood running all over me, and a colleague passed on Thursday night unexpectedly. I'm sorry to hear that. It says college there, but it is colleague. Sorry to hear that, mate. Hope your week is...
it's awful.
Yeah, it's terrible. Hi there to John Mason. Sounds like some interesting stuff tonight. I do hope so, John. I hope you're going to enjoy the show. Digital Pollution is with us. Stephen Braddock is with us as well. Mark Kurtzman. Mark Greaves is with us as well. Kurtzman or RTD, who's worse? They are both in the same box as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
No, absolutely terrible, the two of them. God, no wonder they want a crossover. and kiss each other's asses. What else we got? We got Moriarty saying, if only if they give you payment, JT. Bill, hiya, Bill. Kurtzman and RT, a match made in hell. DEI heaven. That's where that one's matched, isn't it? Honestly. Yeah. And Stephen O'Neill is saying hello from evening rainy Wigan. Always rainy in Wigan. Margie's with us. Hello to you, Margie. How are you?
Hi, Margie.
Barry Stroud, it's good to see you, Barry. How are you with the Saint? How lovely. The Saint is there saying Gary wins. He did. He did. Absolutely, he did. Right, listen, we've got a lot to get through this evening, so keep your comments coming through, everybody. It is great to see you all. What we're going to do first, hang on a minute. I've got a super chat coming through from the John Keeley. Thank you, John, for your super chat. Good to see you. Good evening, gentlemen. Hope all are well. Season 15 collection was fucking great. Much better than the current crap we have these days. John, have to agree. Mine arrived on Monday as well. I've devoured it. Some fantastic, these box sets have got some fantastic behind the scenes stuff as well, and the documentaries. And I have to shout out as well, the Moon Balloon documentaries on various people. I've just had Blake Seven series 2. The Jackie Pierce one there nearly had me in tears, because that is a fantastic documentary about that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful legend of a woman. And I've also seen the Graham Williams one now. So respectfully done.
Amazing. Yeah, it is.
Very moving. Yeah, definitely.
It is, isn't it? It really, really is moving. And I believe I've been privileged to see the Ian Marter one as well.
Yeah, that's a cracker
too. Beautiful one. So well done. Well, you're not going to get me saying it often, but well done to Moon Balloon. They are absolutely gorgeous. Fantastic. So, John, I'm pleased that you got your season 15 and you've enjoyed it and enjoying it. Have you watched the new effects? Very good. They look great, those new effects, I have to say. Right. Paul Schlafter is all with us as well. Evening all, I've just finished the Mission to Magnus CD today. What could it have been like if it was made?
No comment.
Yeah. That's the subject, Paul, for another show. So you're going to have to.
It is indeed, yeah.
Subscribe to us and keep in touch. Make sure you ring that bell, because that is definitely a subject for another show. Let's get cracking with what we've got for this show, everybody, as well. And unfortunately, again, this week, we've had some bad news. There's another one of the actors that has appeared in our beloved show passed away this week. I'm, of course, talking about Marcus Gilbert, who passed away. Oh, the notification of his passing was earlier this week. Known to us, of course, as Doctor Who fans, left-hand side of the picture there, Anselin in Battlefield from 1989. I've also got a picture of him in the huge success that he had in Rivals as well, because people will have known him from that. I think he was in that with Michael Praed, ex-Robin of Sherwood, of course.
That was the original one, not the remake that was done with David Tennant. Is that the same one? The Johnny Cooper?
No, it's not. It's, Rivals was Barbara Taylor Bradford. And
right, okay. They blend into one, you see, that's the thing. So.
It's all that sort of same thing, isn't it?
Yeah. A little bit saucy. Yeah. So
yes. Riders was done back in the 90s, I believe. But he also did things like Army of Darkness, which a lot of people knew him from because of the cult aspect of Army of Darkness. And a TV show, Perfect Scandals. Do you remember that from back in the day? So he was in that. So, but we, of course, know him as Anselin. And it was quite sad news when it came through that he had passed. So, gosh, again, from all of us here, including everybody in the chat, to his family and his friends, God bless. And we're all thinking of you. And it can't be a very easy time for you, obviously. But, Marcus Gilbert, R.I.P. And thank you for being our very own Anselin.
Yeah, it was a lovely performance from him in that. I'm very fond of Battlefield and very fond of him in that. It's a very good performance.
It really is. Really is. Some really good.
He's quite young as well, wasn't he? Which is quite really sad, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
he was. God love him. We have, of course, reviewed Battlefield here on the channel last year. You can go back and look at that in our reviews playlist if you're up for that one. Goodness me, had G Marsh in it as well, of course, who we lost last year.
Of course, yeah.
Goodness. And Nick, it's heartbreaking, isn't it, really? I suppose it's the way of things. But love to his family and his friends.
God bless him.
Yeah.
It is Sunday, the 18th of January, 2026. You are watching The Big Show here on Who's Views. It's headlines. And we've got another ratings analysis update for our very own Bedouia. Now, he's doing something for me just to prove the point that I and the guys have been saying for some time now. that if the BBC or ITV or any other television channel in the UK puts something on that people want to see, they will automatically sit down on the night to watch it. Now, this has all come about because over the last few years, I have been getting very frustrated with the excuse for poorly performing television shows of the way people watch television has changed. And my excuse has always been, guys, hasn't it? No, not necessary if you do something good. Well, we've just had the proof with The Traitors, the latest series of The Traitors. Let's have a look at these graphics from Bedweer. You've got this. Now, this actually shows The Traitors overnights at the top there, right? At the bottom in blue. Thank goodness everybody's watching this in color now. In the bottom in blue is the War Between the Land and the Sea. And then the last series of Doctor Who is in the red. But look at this. The Traitors are getting overnight ratings now of up to 7.90, everybody. I'll say that again. 7.90 on an overnight, where a poor old Doctor Who got 2.17 for its finale that was. And the War Between the Land and the Sea got 1.79.
Yeah, they can only dream of those figures, can't they? Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I'll tell you something else. Look at this. This is the +7 day. 10.72 for the first episode of The Traitors.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it's currently hovering around about 9.68 for episode 3. Of course, we haven't had the rest of the episodes through yet. So there it is. That's the 7 day, 9.68 for episode 3. Whereas it's the equivalent for War Between the Land and the Sea, 3.71. Doctor Who, 3.23.
I can't wait for the 28-day version of The Traitors. That'll be interesting.
It'll be off the scale, isn't it?
Way off, yeah.
Way off the scale. But
have either of you guys watched it? I've only seen clips of it, and it's not really my thing at all. In fact, I think it looks absolute rubbish, but that's just me. If you like it, you like it, like Doctor Who, but this looks absolute pile of crap as well.
Well, I've got friends, Paul, that love it. My sister loves it. I did watch the alleged celebrity one.
Yeah.
Because at that point I was at home recuperating from one bout of chemo, and my sister was staying with me to look after me through the night, as it were, make sure I was okay.
So she forced you to watch it.
She forced me to watch it. And then it's amazing because I suddenly knew what all the nurses back at the Beeston Hospital in Glasgow were talking about, so I was able to tie in with their conversation, and I was like, oh yeah, guess what I watched? And they were all like, yeah. But that was a massive big deal for the BBC as well, because it was the celebrity version one. But I'm going to have people now watching this and getting back to us, Who viewers, and commenting and leaving things on our Facebook page, basically saying, it's not the same. Well, it should be. Because again, my point is, even though The Traitors is not Doctor Who, it's something that people want. And it does prove my point now that Doctor Who has a very small audience, and it's a particular fan base. It's the minority of fans. They've got to start looking at this a little bit more in detail. But we've also done this one for us. Additional viewers from overnight to 7+ day ratings. Look at this. The Traitors is so high. Look at this. This is incredible. Episode 1, 4.32. Episode 2, 3.99. Episode 3, 3.88. That's the increase, between the overnight and the 7-day ratings. This is... I'm dead chuffed about this, Who views, because this proves my point. I'm sure this proves my. What do you guys think?
I think you're right, because they can't deny the fact that people want to see it. That's what they're watching, and regardless of what genre television is, it's just almost like a game show in a way, isn't it? Reality game show type thing. Mm-hmm. It's not a drama, but it's still what people want. So that's what people want to watch. And like you said, if they really want to see it, they'll sit down on the night and watch it. And it's so popular, even probably word of mouth as well. That's why it's gone up in the week as well.
Exactly. I absolutely, totally agree with that. Imagine if they did Doctor Who properly and they had all of us behind it as well. And we were going out to say, have you seen Doctor Who this week? It's really good. Oh, the current Doctor's wonderful. Oh, you should see the one with the Daleks in. I mean, can you imagine the power of Doctor Who if it was done properly?
When Doctor Who came back in 2005, and it was initially very successful, it was seen as event TV, wasn't it? People did talk about it. And Traitors is event TV. And you're absolutely right. If Doctor Who was done properly, it would be event TV again. But it hasn't been done properly for a long, long time now, to the point where people just don't care. Even the ones like us who He'll never admit it, but we were integral to RTD's initial success because he needed us and he wanted us and he asked for us to help spread the word and support it and everything else. And we've checked out a long time ago, as well as being told to get lost anyway. Mm-hmm. So Doctor Who's never going to be event TV again, no matter how much they try and pretend that it is. But they use that as an excuse for pardoning poor ratings. If people wanted to, people would watch Doctor Who. The fact that they get low ratings is that people don't want to watch it or can't be bothered to go out of their way to watch it in the way that we would have done in the good old days when, you know, we're of the appropriate age and we're sitting down to watch a Pertwee or a Baker or a Davison or whatever, anything from the classic realm. We would have made a point, rushed home from work or wherever we were to make sure that we saw it. It's all right having a video recorder ready to play, but you had no watch again, did you? So you had no iPlayer. So you had to have faith that your video recorder would work, and sometimes it didn't, or the tape might chew, God forbid. But really, you wanted to be there for it to actually be seen live as you were. And nobody gives a stuff about that now. But when it's good, they obviously do.
And here we've got something different, like the traitors bringing in those people. I still maintain that if done properly, Doctor Who could, but it's not going to be doing it in the future. Digby, thank you so much, mate, for your super chat here. A program increasing in popularity as the series goes on. Surely there's some mistake. That's true, because we are used to it going down every week, aren't we, on the looking at our shows. Thank you for that, mate. Really appreciate it. Rory is saying to us 7.9. Wow, that is massive these days. It really is. And they are celebrating the overnights. When, of course, when it's not a good overnight, like it's been with the Doctor Who and the Sea Devil thing, they've been coming out saying, it doesn't matter. The overnights don't matter. But when they get huge overnights, they'll celebrate them and they turn around. Again, we're looking at hypocrites. We've got Margie75 saying to us, Paul, Traitors is the game show destroyed the war between the land and the sea, and Doctor Who in the ratings, no surprise there. No, there isn't, is there really? Really, you know, not
I was going to say, it's a bit like when you get a good review, isn't it? You get a good review and a bad review. You listen to the good review and know the bad one, which you're not meant to do. But that's what they're kind of doing with Doctor Who, aren't they? The ratings are a bit crap, but we'll just try and spin it, shall we? Yeah.
Yeah. Stephen, with his lovely picture of a Zygon there, is saying to us, JT, is Bedweir going to do a ratings analysis on Starfleet Academy against the Spot figure in a chair live stream? Well, we're going to be doing a little bit more of that ourselves later on, because I think Nerdrotic proved the point beautifully. You don't need Bedweir to do it for you. And you've got Domgo here saying the Traitors still isn't close to City of Death. Watch that the other night, City of Death. It's still really, really good, isn't it? It's fantastic. Rick Storm is saying, do you like BBC content? Good for you. Who?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If people like it, fantastic.
Someone has to.
Yeah. John Paul Barrett is with us. The irony of the Beeb calling a TV program The Traitors is not a program about 2TK, is it? Yeah, there we go. Bunky is saying to us, only one thing puts me off watching Traitors. It's Davina. Yeah, I know what you mean. She's actually quite good in it, though. She holds the whole thing together really, really well. Marie UK is saying...
Claudia.
Yeah. Claudia. There you go. Yeah. Marie UK saying to us, because the Traitors is successful, people are already trying to destroy it by accusing it of being ist. I saw that. Absolute nonsense, isn't it? Absolute nonsense.
There should be more about the fact that they're treating treachery as a good thing. That's the more interesting point. Yeah.
Yes.
These people need
to stab people in the back and lie to them. That's what we want. Yeah.
They need to get a life. These idiots that they're so blinkered, aren't they? They really are. I'm not talking about anybody in particular, Henry, but it's a real case of get a life. Christ, stop looking for things. I hate the way that these idiots transpose their insecurities on something else. You just transfer it all and say, I think you're this, and then they call everybody, oh, go away. The Carcass. Hello, The Carcass. Surprised the BBC showed The Doctor's Wife after the issues with Gaiman and her idea for extra broadcast Torchwood, all alleged, of course. And Mark, thank you for your super chat. Hi, guys. There is just so much respect and honor paid to actors that sadly pass away on this channel by the panel and this brilliant community. It puts the mainstream to shame. Well done, everyone. Well, thank you, Mark.
Oh, it's lovely.
It is lovely. But, when we lose people from our Doctor Who, proper Doctor Who that ran for 26 consecutive years, becoming the longest running science fiction show in the world to this day, you do sort of go, oh, especially if you've met them, at conventions in the day and stuff as well. But yeah, thank you for that, Mark. Appreciate that one. Paul Schlefter is saying, so it's sad that Doctor Who used to be up there in the ratings. Make a great series for the whole public, not a minority. And maybe ratings will tick back up again. I genuinely believe that can happen if they did it correctly. There is no sign of it being done correctly in the immediate future, though.
No. That's
just a shame, isn't it? Domgo is saying to us, good Doctor Who should pull in 13 million plus. Reviews, Ransom and Religion is saying, not a fan of Traitors, just another crappy reality television show. Comes across as a bit creepy as well. Yeah, with all the hooded figures and stuff. I think that's part of the show. The thing is, my point is, you don't have to be a fan of it or not, but the thing about it is, it's proving my point that people like it and sit down on the night to watch it.
Yeah,
that's my point.
Yeah.
They also did it that Christmas Day, didn't they, for Gavin and Stacey and Wallace and Gromit?
Yeah.
Because, what I'm trying to do here, Review Ransom and Religion, I'm trying to show that these industry types that are always going on about the overnights don't matter. The overnight, they obviously do, because here's the BBC coming along celebrating the overnights of the Traitors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you as well, if Doctor Who got 7 million overnight, we'd hear about it.
Oh, yeah.
We wouldn't stop hearing about it, let's be honest. It's selective PR, isn't it, by whatever department wants to put in whatever spin they want to.
Yeah.
If Traitors was doing badly, would they have come back and said, actually, the viewing figures overnights don't matter? You think they would do that, you think, or not? Yeah. Or that's just, unique to Doctor Who, you think?
No, I think it's across the board. But what they want to do is when they get a big win overnight, they'll celebrate it because it's more publicity for them and it makes themselves feel good. Yeah, because they're so used to now to not having big wins. Rick Storm is saying to us here, over 2 million cancellations of TV licenses in 2020, and it's increasing every year. The BBC needs defunding. It's a shame that 23 million still fund their rubbish. Yeah. I think people are waking up more and more. I mean, to lose that many in that short time is huge, considering, And I would also argue the fact as well, Rick, that not everybody does pay for the BBC. They just watch it. Yeah. There's still an awful lot of people out there that don't understand that they have to have a license. I'm trying to be polite, but that's all out there. It really, really is. And they won't be paying at all, I guarantee you. Digby is saying to us, it's like RTD has driven away the fan base without winning a new audience. Do you think? Hello to Stephen L. Reese who's joined us. Nice to see you, pal. How are you? Hello. And Chris Lawley. Doctor Who on 5:30 on a Saturday night after football and sport can still work if made for family viewing, as or before the Traitors and Gladiator. Yeah.
I still always preferred about 6:20 personally. It was just, you guaranteed that it was darker in those autumn, winter months. 6:20 was just about right. For 5:15, a little bit too worse. I like that run in, where you had Basil Brush as well. The excitement built.
I remember when season 18 came out, and it was somewhere about 5:10, I think, later episodes like Keeper Tracker and Legopolis and stuff. And I think that really killed it in the ratings, didn't it? Because it was just slightly too early, wasn't it?
Too early. Yeah. Absolutely too early. Yeah, of course, season 18, and then, of course, season 19, new time slot completely, ratings through the roof.
Yeah.
For Pieces run. Huge run. Hi, Derek Hart. How are you? Nice to see you. Dalek Decimus is with us. Hello, Dalek Decimus. I've not paid the TV license in 21 years and won't be starting if they try it on with Netflix and YouTube. Stay with us here on the show. We're going to be talking about a possible future in this show for the BBC, which I believe they are going to be announcing this coming week. So stay with us. Small Goat. I can't imagine them doing another season sooner than 2030s, if ever. If it goes on the way it is going on now, and what we've just seen with Star Trek Starfleet Academy, I don't want them doing Doctor Who at all. Kirsty. Hello, Kirsty. How are you, lovely? She's saying to me, it's Claudia Winkleman. Yeah, there we go.
They're pretty much interchangeable, aren't they? Davina and Claudia.
They are really. Yeah. No, you're right.
Except Claudia looks more like, remember that sheepdog used to get in that cartoon with the fringe down to here? Used to guard the sheep. That's what it reminds me of a little bit, you know.
Wurzel style scarecrows where you just change the head. You know.
Hello to Matt the Silent. How are you? And William M. Orlock is with us as well. So that was just something that I really wanted to push, basically, and illustrate, because we do get people who viewers criticizing us for those brilliant reports that Bedweer does, which are all based on fact. They are based from data from broadcasts from BARB official channels, where the BBC, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5, and everything else, Sky, they all go for their figures from these people. So we're getting them from the same place. So I just don't understand how people can always come back and say to us, you're lying, as somebody did on our show the other week. Somebody commented, somebody who's not a regular, commented on our show stream, you know, the things underneath or the side, whatever. Stop lying to your viewers. Well, we're not. No.
Some people, JT, some other channels as well, won't let facts get in the way of bullshit, though, will they? They can't help it.
Other channels?
Apparently there are some. I've heard it.
I was going to say, in Bedweer's defence, he's coming into this neutral because he hasn't watched any of the current episodes we've had or the fishy thing. So he's coming from a neutral position. He's not slagging it off. He's just protecting the facts, ma'am. That's what he's doing. Yeah,
exactly. And he's here with us in the chat. The Traitors has become family viewing, says Bedweer, moving to an earlier time slot for that reason. And this proves that the audience is growing. It certainly does, mate. And thank you again for doing those graphics for me and doing the research for us to prove the point. And that if that family audience, again, certain people have been going, oh, the family audience doesn't exist anymore. Now, I seem to remember hearing this in the 90s when Doctor Who was off. Oh, what are we going to do with Doctor Who because there's no family audience anymore? Comes back in 2005, huge family audience for several years. Huge family audience. And now they're saying the same thing again. You know, because these people who are so invested in this show now, mainly people who are, you know, TQ cult associated, are so desperate to keep it going. You know,
what they need to have is, you know, Men in Black, they have those mind wiping devices. You should get one of those when you get a TV license and it wipes the last 7 years of Doctor Who, whatever, then you just go back to Capaldi and start again. They would do that. Okay. Yeah.
I would do that.
Yes.
I would do that. I like this one. I finally remember my password, says Zia Badzagsok. Is that right?
Good I can relate to that. Yeah.
Good to see you. I do recognize your avatar from a long time ago, so it's good to see you. Hello, hello, hello. What else we got here? Chris is saying, look, Basil Brush, boom, boom. Happy days, Chris, eh? Absolutely.
You see, they brought Basil Brush back as well, didn't they? And it was a bit shite from what I didn't watch it, but I didn't hear.
But it wasn't aimed at us, Ian, to be fair.
Why not, damn it?
We've got Gavin Graham here with us, mate. I wonder about the ratings for industry, that Bad Wolf finance drama. That's made its way to 4 series on minuscule viewers. My unmeasured self among them. BBC might never think Doctor Who ratings are too low. The problem we've got with this entertainment business, as we've illustrated on the show before, is they look down on the viewer, think that we need to be preached and educated to their way of thinking. And quite frankly, they don't care. They're going to peddle this stuff out as much as they can, even if it means losing viewers, as we've seen with Doctor Who. It was so bad. The whole thing was awful, culminating in the worst piece of television I've ever seen with The Reality War, which had everything, including the kitchen sink in it. It was desperate nonsense. And they're still allowing it to continue without arrest with the same team responsible for doing that.
Yeah.
Double down is the word that people would use, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Mm. There's nothing smart about doubling down when you're so clearly wrong, though, is there? Really?
I just don't understand how they work. I really don't. It concerns me on many, many levels, quite frankly. It's great to see you all in the chat, though. We have got loads of you here, so thank you for joining us. We've also got Chris saying to us, I haven't watched BBC Saturday Night Television for years. No, because it's bloody shocking. It's bad. Why would you when you've got a bloody good Blu-ray collection and DVD collection, and you've got other sources now, like the Tube of Who, and like, of course, your pay-for streaming services, or whatever you call them now, things like Disney and Netflix and all that.
Yeah.
Hi, Glenn. There's Glenn Piper, everybody. How are you? Good evening, all. Around 15 white people left on Traitors. Everyone is white on the show. I hadn't noticed until I saw people complaining about it. I think it's exposing how silly these people are. Or maybe it's just by chance that some of the people that got voted off were rubbish. I don't know what the situation is with the show, but, you know, I don't know. What else we got? Yeah, so that's that. And as I said, thanks to Bedweir for doing that. It's just me illustrating my point, and I think the Traitors has done it beautifully for me. The latest to do it, actually. So thank you to the Traitors. Yeah, we're moving on now. We were just talking about nonsense. Yeah. Did you see this on X, previously known as Twitter, of course? Oh, dearie me. This is apparently Sylvester McCoy's X, and he's announced that he's leaving X. Why, he says? 2 words. Elon Musk. No more need to explain. Sylvester. Well, I think there's a need to explain. I mean, what? I don't get it. I don't understand. You know, there's a hell of a lot of people on that platform. You're reaching out to a fan base there. You're talking to various people. What happened to agree to disagree? And where is people like his? Where's people like McCoy's and all the show business? Where are they standing? Why aren't they coming out criticizing their beloved Labour and the policies that are going on in the country right now? What is going on? I don't quite get it.
Haven't heard many of them complaining about the goings on in Iran either. They've been very quiet about that. If you put a Gazan flag on it, they'd be going mental. But I think with Sylvester, I did respond to his tweet on.
Did you? What did you say?
Yeah, I just said it wasn't an airport departure. An airport, you didn't have to announce your departure. Just go. And then I think underneath that it said posted by so-and-so, his manager. And I also said it should have actually been his carer. But I think in the words of Professor Travers in episode 1 of Web of Fear, silly old goat.
I don't understand it at all. I don't understand why you would, A, want to divorce yourself from a huge fan base who won't think like you. Especially in the States, because what he's just done is he's just insulted American fans as well as worldwide fans, hasn't he? Really, you know, I genuinely don't understand who viewers why you would do that and why you would announce it. I mean, does he think he's Cynthia Nixon, for crying out loud? That lunatic over there. I mean, God's sake. Matt and Spiel, she is, isn't she? She's off her head. Matt Spiel, allegedly. Oh, Sylvester, says Matt and Spiel. It's a social media site, not an airport lounge. There's no need to announce your departure. Exactly what Third Doctor Ian has said there. I mean, yeah, why would you just announce it as well?
Do you think it's because of the AI thing?
You know,
what was that?
It's dramatic.
Yeah.
He's trying to be dramatic, and that's the thing. If he's going to Blue Sky, that's an echo chamber, isn't it? It's just all the same type of opinions on that point of view. There's no diversity of point of view on there at all. It's all, yes, whatever you say kind of thing. And it's just pathetic, really. I mean, he's trying to be political as well. He's just trying to do a David Tennant there, is he? You know?
Well, it's not going to make it's not going to endure him, is it, Ian? To people with common sense who can agree to disagree.
When all the lefties went to Blue Sky, a lot of them announced they were leaving because, you know, and then they came back to X as well and never actually left it all.
It's a bandwagon. Again, it's virtue signaling bandwagon. They all have to, I'm a nice person. Well, I'm going to do what he's doing.
But Blue Sky had to then apparently employ a lot more moderators because the level of hate speech went through the roof, which is interesting because it's just a cesspit of the left. But I don't know if Sylvester's commenting about Elon Musk because the AI faking allegedly women and girls in bikinis and undressing and things like that. I mean, I use X quite a lot, and I've got to honestly say, hand on heart, I have never, ever seen that. I've seen some pretty horrendous stuff, but I've never seen that. But I did see a graphic circulated in a few outlets showing all the various social media platforms which have the highest cases of offensive and derogatory and sexualized posts against women and girls. And the top one with something like 52% was Snapchat. And then a lot of the other ones, and right at the bottom in a top 10 was X with between 1% and 2%. So I think it's very interesting that Keir Starmer has seen the problem and is targeting the one responsible for 1 or 2%. It's almost like he's using it as an excuse to stifle something that's actually posting stuff about him that he has no control over. You know, it's almost like he's using it as a smokescreen, because if you really were bothered about that, one, you'd stop the grooming gangs, not interested, is he? And the other one, you would attack Snapchat, because that would take out 50-odd% of it straight away. But he's going for the 1 and 2%. I mean, I know he's a godforsaken bottom feeder, but why is he going for the 1 and 2%?
But, you know, the whole point about this one as well with these showbiz lovies, again, it's hypocrisy. Because what they're doing is they'll look at that and say, I'm going to this because of this. But where's the bigger picture? It leads to a much bigger picture. You've just mentioned a couple of the topics here that our government right now in the UK are deliberately ignoring and stalling as much as they possibly can. And it's very interesting that when it came to this for X, they managed to bring in a new law, I think it was, within 3 days.
Yes.
And there's other things that are going on in the country where they cannot. They cannot, because it will lose them votes. And that's all this government, this particular party in government right now care about. That's all their part. And the people that are their paymasters, it's disgraceful. They don't care about the rest. So the bigger picture for these showbiz lovies, I think, is what's your opinion and what's your take on what that's doing and what they're doing there and what they're not doing there and what they've introduced there. But they won't say, Carol Vorderman, she won't say anything, will she? She's gone very quiet, you know.
The current government are losing votes with constant U-turns as well, though, to be fair.
Totally, yeah.
Every time they U-turn, they lose 1,000 votes, 1 million votes, yeah.
It's getting more and more difficult, Who viewers, I don't know about you, to park this, because, you know, I don't like hearing the opinions of actors. If I want their opinion, I'll ask for it on the stage, probably. You know, I don't want to hear about them. I want to hear about their careers. I want to hear about their job. I want to hear about I don't want to hear because it puts me off them a lot of the time. Really does. Certainly, I just think, hang on a minute. You know, what would I want to talk to you when you've got that sort of attitude towards people? Not particularly, really. Mark Greaves is saying to us here, I announced my departure from my local spa shop. When I saw that, I assumed it was the norm. You were totally right to do that, Mark, as well. You must do that. Every time you leave somewhere now, you must announce it to the world, because the world needs to know. The world gives a toss. And it's Chris Lawley, thank you for your super chat. Let's see the iPlayer viewer figures of classic Doctor Who and early New Who compared to since She Who. Oh, goodness. Should not be spoken by RTD's dream of a boy he wanted. What's that last bit mean?
Is that nothing to do with his their new partner, perhaps? I don't know.
See.
Allegedly, I don't know. But
yeah, it could be that, isn't it? So thank you for that, Chris. You're right. Goodness me, controversial. What else have we got here as well? Marie UK, thank you for your super chat. Starmer can't even walk in a line without tripping over his own feet. Never mind take on Elon Musk.
What I'm waiting for his reaction to Trump wanting to enforce tariffs on the UK and Europe so he can invade Greenland. That's what I'm looking forward to next. Yeah. Allegedly.
Allegedly. It's all alleged. Who's this? Robert Payne is saying, I suspect Silver's people in his life who has nagged him into leaving. It wouldn't surprise me if he hasn't.
I think Robert's right there. I see a lot of Robert on X, and it's always good to see him. There's a very good voice of reason there. But I think he's probably right on that one. I think that's probably Claire, Silver's manager. I think she was called Claire, and Claire the carer, I'll call her. And she was probably saying, yeah.
There's an awful lot of people around him, though, that will follow the RTD message. You know, trust me, I see that. Margie is saying to us here, entertainers have no business speaking about politics. I think they do, obviously, because we're supposed to be living in a democracy. It could be in the dying days of it under this government. But I think they should keep it to polite company.
Yeah, they're entitled to an opinion, but you're right. I mean, I don't want to know about people's politics. I don't care, really. But you can't pretend because you're a celebrity, you have power to say something that will affect an issue. I don't think that should be allowed at all.
Yeah. I think they just need better agents to turn around and say, shh, shh. You know,
I think they do think sometimes that because they've been on telly or in film or both, I think they think that makes them intelligent.
And powerful.
Yeah.
Well,
and
they want to go into politics,
really
do Ronald Reagan go into politics, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He did well out of it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Heretic saying to us, guys, social media ruined entertainment because actors won't shut up about their politics, and I don't care whether they're left or right. I have to say as well, the right, the entertainment people that are on the right, you need to start speaking up and telling your friends to shut up, honestly, because they're terrified of speaking up, aren't they, because of being pummeled by do-gooders. And Kirsty is saying to us, Mark Ruffalo last week at the Golden Globes was hilarious. He's a wet wipe. That's polite. I saw that as well. Oh, shut up.
What was he crying about?
Everything. Trump.
Iran?
States of America. ICE.
Iran?
All the usual nonsense that he's an absolute alleged idiot. I couldn't be done with him. Honestly, I was just like, oh, shut up. You know, stay in your house and watch your films. You know, those huge hits you've had.
Huge.
Anyway. Oh, goodness me. Anyway, that was that particular one, of course. So in the show it goes. John Roberts, hello to see you. Actors are full of it. I'm important because I can remember lines. Some of them can't, quite frankly. Trust me, I know all about that one. But headlines, this is our political show here on Whose Views. When they drop a headline, no matter who it's going to be, and it's associated with Doctor Who, we're going to talk about it. Which leads us on to the next. It's there again, that bloody rumour. I mean, he's never going to leave it now. And it's his own fault. Yes, your favourite and mine. David Tennant's coming back to Doctor Who, according to the rumours. We've seen this, haven't we, guys?
Oh, boring.
Yeah, it's boring. The latest rumor stems from this on his Instagram, where he said, "Time to get it back on?" ? And he shared it with a picture of his suit from his time as the 10th Doctor in a suit bag. So, of course, this got a certain amount of fans, or a certain set of fans, into a frenzy. But can you see that little response actually at the bottom? It says, "Already taken it to Oxfam. It's the only way to stop you." Now, that's coming from his missus, of course. But there you are. That's it again. So it says to me that he did that deliberately because it knew it would cause a bit of a fuss, you know, from that minority, and it would end up speaking to grown-ups like us who would put it on and talk about it.
I think it's quite funny, the little chat and a little bit of business on there, but it is quite sad thinking that if he is coming back, that's going to save the show, because I don't even think Tom Baker could save the show if he came back now. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, it's there's no hope, you know?
There is no hope. There's no hope. And there comes a time where you just think, what, they're going to wheel him out every 10 years?
Yeah.
Or something like that, you know.
And he wasn't that popular to start with, surely, to do that, you know? So.
Not really, no. Listen, can I say hello to RD Animation Films and Model Builds? Hello, mate, how are you? Oh, no, not David Tennant again, he says. Absolutely. Now, listen, if you've not seen RD Animation Film and Model Builds, please go and have a look at it. Not now, but after the show. Because brilliant stuff. One of my favorites is the 5th, 6th, and 7th Doctor console and the console wall set, you know, the rondels. Absolutely beautiful stuff. So yeah, good stuff. I was only thinking about you yesterday, actually. I was going to message you and say, how are things going? Because I believe he's also now got, correct me if I'm wrong, Roddy, but how's your shop going? It's a little shop called Blake's Heaven.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It's RD Animation that's got Blake's Heaven, is it? There's some incredible stuff there. You got something, didn't you, Paul? You got the Blackpool thing.
I don't know if the Blackpool thing was the same person. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know what the person's real name is. I can't remember. But yeah, I got a fantastic Blackpool exhibition TARDIS with the shot part of it, with the monsters on it, which was lovely. But I don't know if it's the same person or not.
I still think if it's within reach, Paul, if it's within reach, you should show it.
Right, it's not.
What are we talking about here? Oh, yes, okay, yeah.
Guys, it's not RD that's got the shop, but he is doing. He did do the models, so thank you, mate. Good to hear from you. It's good to, and you know, good to see you as well. We've got George United here as well, saying it loses the impact of bringing back a popular Doctor when it's every other year. Yeah, definitely.
Just look at that. Look at that.
This was the thing I got. I don't think it's done by the same person, but it's fabulous. It really is fabulous.
It is.
And
so
when you
many
turn it
memories
around,
that brings back.
and you open the door. I don't want to break it. Let's open the doors. You open the doors, and you can see inside the little shop bit.
The kiosk. Well, that's the kiosk where you got your tickets.
Yeah, the kiosk where you used to buy your ticket at the start as you went in. As the music was blaring, the original theme, then the 80s theme would come out of there, and you'd have all the Daleks and Cybermen outside, actors who were in there or staff playing the monsters and stuff. It was lovely. Great. But this is absolutely fabulous. And I can't remember the name of the man who did it, but it's superb. If it's the same person, thank you. That's what I'm saying. But
we've got Stephen O'Neill saying here, David Tennant's done more comebacks than Frank Sinatra. And Robert Payne saying, Tennant can come back as long as it is to regenerate properly in the first 3 minutes. That's my rule. The whole thing is absolute nonsense now. And it's like Paul keeps saying here on the channel. They've now made an absolute mess of regeneration. They've taken away the danger of a doctor dying, the whole sympathy of this. They've done that through the Chibnall era. They've done it now with bi-generation or whatever they called it. Absolute nonsense. But this rumor was picked up by our favorite journalist from the Woketro. Yes, it's Asia, everybody. Here she is with this headline. Hey. And as I say, this filled up space, didn't it, gentlemen? It really did. David Tennant appears to tease Doctor Who return, but has he really? Dum, dum, dum. She made a whole story of this rumor as well, like this. David Tennant seems all too ready to step back onto the TARDIS, according to a cheeky new social media post from his wife, Georgia. The Doctor Who star who played the 10th Doctor and returned as the 14th has an enduring relationship with the long-running BBC series, whether we like it or not. I've just added that. Since Ncuti Gatwa exited the show after 2 seasons earlier this year and regenerated into Billie Piper, the future of RTD's Hem show has been thrown into the air. The sci-fi show will return for Christmas special in 2026, but that looks like, and who will star in it remains to be seen, leaving Whovians abuzz with various theories. After Tennant appeared in an official video on the Doctor Who social media in December, fans have launched into renewed speculation that it was a sign he could be returning yet again. Now it seems as though the Broadchurch actor is on the chatter, with Georgia fueling rumours with Who-related posts. Taking to her Instagram story, she shared a screenshot of a silly message exchange between her and her husband. That's the one I've just shown you with the suit. Still, considering all the very plausible ways he could return to the Whoniverse, but it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility that he could be back. The social media post is almost certainly in jest, but in a show with so many twists, turns, and surprise returns, who knows if he really will be whipping out the Oxfam destined suits sooner rather than later. Still, after Ncuti took over for his tenure as the 15th Doctor, both Tennant and Davies were clear that the actor wouldn't be returning as a Time Lord for a while. In May 24, RTD told The Times, David is parked and retired. It's all Ncuti's show now. Genuinely, it's not that David might be coming back. He's absolutely not coming back. He even joked, I think the 14th Doctor died. I'm going to start saying that. He went to Venice in 2063 when the city sank, and he went into a whirlpool, which is really sad. It's your own fault for creating bi-generation then, isn't it, you loon?
Which you never thought through properly at all. Don't get started on that, for God's sake. Yeah.
I don't think he thinks anything through, really.
Yeah.
I like
this. But you guys, you know, if you look back at classic Doctor Who and you can remember how each Doctor regenerated, I have real trouble remembering how the new Doctors have regenerated. There's no tension in it, apart from the Eccleston and the Time Vortex part. Apart from that, I can't really remember how people regenerated. But the classics, like you know about Metebelis 3. Yeah. No, I don't mean the way they did. I mean the cause of it. You know, like
yes, I know.
Having the radiation from the Metebelis spider or falling from the Pharaohs project. You know, they were memorable things. But I can't think of how the others regenerated at all. You know, because they kept holding it in. You know, like a poo. Terrible.
Yeah, and they just wouldn't die either, would they?
Yeah.
It took ages. Oh, I've got to get this monologue out. It takes 5 minutes. But bear with me 5 minutes, and then I'll pop off. Absolute nonsense. Chorus Sci-Fi Fantasy, thank you so much for your super chat. No more Tennant, please. Dear God, enough already. Exactly. I'm sick of them as well for various reasons. But do you know what?
When you consider that Tennant left, 2010 initially?
Yeah, originally.
Yeah.
So if you put that in the context of the original series, you've got William Hartnell. And you've just had Tom Baker with the Key to Time and everything else, and then Hartnell's back. it just wouldn't make sense, would it? 16 years.
It wouldn't, because he was dead 3 years before that, to be fair.
Well, that's true, but he'd still get better ratings than Shooty. But
probably, yeah.
You know, it's just it's nonsensical that they keep dragging this already buggered corpse up, and buggering it some more. And
they just seem to insist, Ian, for me, that Tennant is popular. And George United 7 is saying to us, I like Tennant's regeneration.
Which one?
Matt Smith. I think the best thing about Tennant's regeneration to Matt Smith was Matt Smith.
yeah.
You know, all that I don't want to go nonsense. Oh, for heaven's sake, just go. I mean, that's where the nation was. And I do mean the nation back then. The nation was watching. And that's where I suppose the nation was, because David had been very successful and very big. So I suppose they had to get some of that emotion into it, but it went on for bloody hours, didn't it? They did the same thing with Smith and Capaldi. Make sure they get the monologue, get it. But yeah, George, if you liked it, that's absolutely fine and dandy. What I get fed up with, George, as well now, is that they're all the bloody same. It's all the orange glow stuff. So when they do all these sort of videos now of all the Doctor's regenerations, after you've had 6 into 7, it gets the same. So you might as well watch any of them.
Yeah.
You know, just don't bother watching it. Yeah, I don't know. This is a great subject for people. We're all talking about him. It is a rumor. I just want to put that back into there. It's a rumor. It's been around since Christmas. He knew it. He heard it, and he stoked the fires. Why? We'll soon know. We've got here from Legion of James, it really boils my blood how RTT refers to Doctor Who like it's his property and his creation. Yeah. He brought nothing new to it and is responsible for destroying it. Well said. Well said. He does, though, doesn't he, Paul?
As Rodney kind of said, and I said in the chat as well, that, you know, if he's kept, it seems really weird that he's kept, whether he kept Tennant alive, his Doctor, the 14th Doctor alive, in case of this going pear-shaped once Shooty was on the scene, because it seems awfully convenient. It could quite easily merge them together, or merge him and Billie together, then regenerate into the next one and forget about all that, which would be lovely. It's like a shower scene that we've all wanted, kind of thing, almost. They're not far back enough.
I'm getting a headache.
Sorry.
I mean, again, it's like you keep saying, Paul, they've made it so convoluted. They've made it so confusing. They've taken the magic away from a regeneration, because you would hear about a Doctor leaving, wouldn't you? And the biggest one for me was when I heard that Tom was leaving and my world collapsed. 10-year-old.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But a similar effect when Davison said a few years later, I'm going, not to the extent that I was totally upset like I was with Tom, because I didn't think I got to know the 5th Doctor properly. But I remember the 21st season, and each story was, for me, I was building up to that moment where he was going to go.
And you really felt from him, he regenerated in Kes Van Zandt. Superb stuff. And there was real tension there. You really missed him, and you didn't want him to go, because he'd gone too early as well, which was such a shame, you know?
Yeah. But I think the way that Robert Holmes wrote that beautiful script actually suggested that, Paul, that he was going too early, because he did it because, A, because of his incredible curiosity, and B, he saved the life of Perry.
Who hardly knew.
Who he didn't know. And that showed the 5th Doctor in a lovely, you know, in a sort of story arc, really, those 3 years. You know, it showed the 5th Doctor, because he was always putting himself in for other people, wasn't he? And here he was giving his life for this girl he didn't know, really. It's quite ahead of its time, even though they probably didn't know they were doing it.
I'm really looking forward to the season 21 Blu-ray set. That looks amazing. So not long now. But
not long now. March the 16th, I believe, the Blu-ray collection, the limited edition version of season 21 is out. Stay with us, of course, here in March, because we do our season 21 overview. And we're going to be looking at a season 21 series, a story in our reviews. I'm not going to tell you which one it is yet. Going to make you wait for it, but it's on the way. Chris Lawley, thank you so much for your super chat. We know Doctor Who after Christmas, whatever, will be on a break for a few years. That is certainly a massive, big rumor at the moment, and it wouldn't surprise me. It needs it. It needs it. And, you know, again, going back to comments we've had to us at this show, how can you be Doctor Who fans when you're wanting to take the show off the air and give it a rest? Well, for you people who say that, it's exactly because we're Doctor Who fans. We want to take the show off the air and give it a rest, because it's in a mess. And it needs to go away, get itself sorted with people that can do the job properly, and come back and take the British people, especially, by storm again. I think. I can't speak for the boys.
Oh, I agree completely. I think it's kind of damage limitations of it. Coming back at Christmas is going to make it even more of a mess, I'd imagine. And coming back too soon after that would be not a good idea. So let's stop it for 5 years, bring it back with a new team who are not fans and people who actually care about the source material.
Hello to Woodhouse 122. Do you agree with that as well, Ian? That's good.
Totally, 100%.
We've got Woodhouse 122 with Rory here. Tennant regenerating in the end of time was poor. Instead of all that, seeing his companions for 20 minutes padding, he should have just changed, I would think that would be. But this was that whole thing about bringing all this.
He probably charged as well for that extra 20
He probably did charge. I remember seeing that at the very end, Woodhouse 122, and actually thinking about it at the time, thinking, this is the backstage crew, including RTD, taking a round of applause. Look what we did over the last 3 years.
It's a lap of honour, isn't it? Kind of thing.
That's the word I was looking for, yeah. And it wasn't really about Tennant. It was about them behind the scenes. Look at us. Aren't we clever? Aren't we big? Aren't we
should have regenerated in that glass cage just with Wilf watching on. And that's it. And that's it.
To be fair, they did in Johnny's End, the last two-part of season 4. He should have ended then, because they already did that lap of honour as well, with all the characters like Sarah and Mickey and all that kind of stuff, all there from attacking the Daleks and all that kind of stuff. So they've done that already. So we're just repeating themselves again when he left.
And it would have made more sense just to take him out of the equation, wouldn't it? Really take out the story. That bit's done. Move on.
Yeah.
Lex is saying to us, flame gold regeneration has spoiled the mystery of regeneration. Classic Who was the best. And Robert Payne is saying to us here, I like Colin Blaker's regeneration speech. Yeah. Carrot juice, carrot juice, carrot juice. Short, simple, and to the point.
Yeah.
George United saying to us, Smith to Capaldi was a quick one, wasn't it? Yeah. And quite honestly, it reminded me a bit of the Pertwee to Baker.
I've heard someone refer to it as the sneeze regeneration, which is quite appropriate.
That's fair enough.
Yeah,
that is fair enough. Yeah. We've got Who Janus with us, guys. Reports that Disney and Marvel Studios have terminated Mark Ruffalo after his Golden Globes ranting. Well, good. I'd hate to see anybody losing the job, but he's only an actor.
I assume
don't make him angry, though, whatever you do.
I assume they mean the contract as opposed to actually terminating him.
Yeah, the contract I would think of,
Although, I wouldn't object.
Maybe his eyes, maybe his nose. That's it, yeah. So.
If that's true, though, Hugh, that would show an amazing shifting in what's going on with Hollywood studios. Wouldn't it? That would be amazing. Dalek Decimus is saying to us, the best Doctor, in my view, was Peter Cushing. I'm not going down that rabbit hole, I tell you. Honestly, goodness, no, that's again another show. But yeah, we've got all that. So this is the rumor that has been picked up by only the Metro, as far as I can see, that David Tennant is rumored to be coming back in the Christmas special a Christmas special. I hate that word. Christmas episode, blah, blah, blah. We'll soon know, though, won't we? At the moment, though, I sort of think, well, it's going to be still with Billie Piper. The reason I say that is because Russell can't stop the continuity. Everything has to leave from A, B, C in his head, doesn't it? So he finished with Billie, and he'll think that millions of people want to know what happens next. Well, here's a note for you. We don't give a toss. Start afresh. We don't care because none of us watched it. You got 2 million watching the last crap. Just start afresh. But I don't think they're going to. But what would Billie Piper say? This week, it was announced that she is taking part in a brand new project. It's this one from the RadioTimes.com reporting. Doctor Who star Billie Piper joins deeply moving true story film with A-list cast, including beloved Oscar winner Johnny Flynn, Monica Dolan, and Heartstoppers, it says there, but that should be Heartstoppers, Joe Locke, are among the other stars newly announced for the up-and-coming drama Elsinore. Okay, so Elsinore is brand new film that's obviously being worked on. Doctor Who icon, it says here, Billie Piper has been added to the cast of upcoming film Elsinore, joining a starry ensemble led by Andrew Scott and beloved Oscar winner, get ready, yes, you are surprised by this one, I know, Olivia Colman. Gosh, she doesn't get any work these days, really, does she? No. Piper is one of the many new names announced for the drama, which has just begun filming on location around the UK, with other recognisable faces including Johnny Flynn, Luke Thompson, Monica Dolan, Juliet Stevenson, Joe Locke, Adil Akhtar, and Peter Mullen. It tells the true story of Scottish actor Ian Charleson, played in the film by Scott, who, per the official synopsis, quote, faced incredible odds while preparing to give the performance of his life in Hamlet at the National Theatre in London. Charleson was known for his roles in a number of iconic films, including the Oscar winners Gandhi and Chariots of Fire. But he died in 1990, 4 years after he had been diagnosed with HIV. Before his death, he requested that the cause of his illness should be made public after he passed, making it the first time that a death of a celebrity in the UK had been openly attributed to HIV and AIDS. Now, if you're of a certain age, you might remember the name. And just put a name to Ian Charleson, a face to Ian Charleson for you. Here's a picture of him. So, I mean, some of us, he was around when we were growing up, you know.
I remember from Chariots of Fire, definitely.
Yeah. He did it. You would know him from certain things. It's a shame. It's another one of these people that you just think, goodness me, because he had so much more to offer. Of course, I know him from Chariots of Fire and stuff like that, but also because he was the first alleged celebrity to come out with the HIV/AIDS illness, and it wasn't treated very well in the press, if I remember correctly, back in the day. But as you know, I went into LGBT circles, I learned more about the story and the fact, he was very brave at that point in time to do what he did. So this better be a damn good film. The article finishes by saying his final hugely acclaimed role as Hamlet took place between the 9th of October and the 13th of November 1989, while he was seriously ill and just 8 weeks before his death. Beyond the fact that Andrew Scott will play Charleson and Olivia Colman will star as his doctor, it's not yet been revealed who the other cast members will be playing, but there's certainly no shortage of talent in the ensemble. Speaking about the film when it was first announced in December 2025, Stone declared it as one of the most exciting projects I've ever been involved in. He added, Stephen Beresford's screenplay is both heartbreaking and hilarious, a beautiful ode to the power of community in times of crisis. Andrew Scott is one of the greatest actors of his generation, as Ian Charleson was. It's momentous casting. And Billie's going to be in it.
I'm disappointed Billie's not playing the doctor in it, though. That's disappointing, isn't it? Rather than Olivia Colman playing it. I mean, that would be an interesting twist.
Yeah, that would be. Maybe that'd be typecasting, though, Paul.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. Lex, thank you for your super chat. What have you got? Colin's season was off air for 18 months. Gatwa is month longer, nearly 20 months. So how does RTD think it's Doctor Who 2026 be good? It won't save it. Oh, that ties in with our last subject, doesn't it? No. Yeah, I mean, he's not going to care. We all know what RTD is like. It's his way or no way. And he's definitely going to be thinking it has to continue from where he left off because the audience will expect it. What audience? You don't have a bloody audience. Your minority of nappy-wearing, fans is it. That's all. I can't. RTD does my head in. Him and Alex Kurtzman, they do my head in. But here we have Billie, Paul back in.
So I was going to say, so Billie's filming this, okay?
Yeah.
So for people who do think she's going to be in the Christmas special, does that mean she'll be unavailable for much of it because she's doing another project or two? Or because I think she's doing Wednesday as well, the Addams Family show as well, isn't she, at some point?
She's doing Wednesday as well, yeah. The next series is Wednesday. Yeah.
So she's in that and this movie. How much commitment can she give her doctor character, the 115th Doctor, whatever she is?
Yes, so let's start CGI here on Who's Views, shall we? Let's start that here. Go on, Ian.
CGI. AI generated Billie Piper.
As we've seen recently. It's interesting, isn't it, that she's going to do this film. Good luck to her for doing this film. I'm very interested in this film. As Heretic says here, will they ruin his legacy and make the movie TQ cultist? That's what I'm worried about. Will they start putting the Q word in when a time when the Q word was usually heard as we were getting our heads kicked in? Yeah. It's very, very, very worrying. It's very concerning. You've got an awful lot of people there that will follow the TQ cult dictates, including Billie. I just hope the writers haven't gone down that route and have made it a proper, sensible drama about this man who was gay, same-sex attracted. He wasn't the Q word, he wasn't it? He was same-sex attracted. And that's it. So let's see what happens. I don't know. We've got Marine Boy joining us. Hello, Marine Boy. And of course, Charleston was also in that classic comedy with Julie Walters, Cart Trouble. There's some great pictures of him and Julie available online. So yeah, they're lovely pictures.
How old was he when he died? Do you know?
Not that old. I'm not too sure. But no, he wasn't that old at all. Silver Wolf is saying to us, I remember him in that film. Yes, they better do a good job, but unfortunately, knowing how bad scripts are nowadays, my enthusiasm is muted until I see it. I can relate to that completely. And Marie UK, thank you for your super chat. Tennant calls himself the biggest Doctor Who fan ever, yet is totally fine with it being trashed and used mainly for the message. Copyright The Critical Drinker.
Well, it's nice to see a potential gay story not written by Russell T Davies, which is nice. So.
Yes.
Yeah. So I thought that was an interesting story about Billie. She's taken this lovely role on. I don't know what she's playing in it because I couldn't find out. So I don't know how long her commitment, guys, is to the project. It could only be in for 2 weeks.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But there is an awful lot of speculation going on. So I thought we'd balance something out with the fact that she's working. Leave her alone.
Because at the latest, they're going to film the Christmas special in June at the very, very latest, aren't they? And that's stretching.
If they want to get it all done, it's got to be done, you know, by then.
Probably before that, but that's at the very latest. I thought, but
I was told, whether it's right or not, that they start going back into pre-production in February. So that's any time around about now.
Okay. Right.
I suppose he'd have to start looking at what roles. I mean, I don't think he's even written the bloody script yet. It's all in here for him.
He wrote on the back of a fag packet, as always, hasn't he? That's what he normally does. Yeah. So.
That's it. Well,
allegedly,
the other person that doesn't know whether Billie Piper's coming or going, or even been, is ex-showrunner Chris Chibnall, who has taken part in the BBC the Radio Times BBC Writers' Room thing. Now, this is available to go and see here on the Tube of Who, if you are desperate.
Don't look at me, please.
No. I watched it for you guys, and I have to say I was totally bored. Very, very bored with it. Just simply because he's not interesting to interview, in my eyes. He's got no zest to him, no pap. At least RTD can put a little bit of energy into something. Chibnall just sits out there and he's very sort of like, very sort of like, oh yeah, this is this and this is this. And what they're doing with the writers' room is they're talking about his career from his days in in theatre where he was starting, and then how he broke into television, inevitably get to Broadchurch. They talk about this huge success of Broadchurch. I always say the first series was a massive success. The second two, not so much. As people suddenly realize, I'm a bit bored with this, and they turned it off. Because Broadchurch Series 1 was an event in itself, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We hadn't quite seen anything quite like that. To try and repeat it was a bit of a mistake, Paul, I think.
I think so. I mean, I think you're right in saying, though, that he has no real charisma as being interviewed. I mean, at least, as you say, Russell and Stephen Moffat as well were quite entertaining to watch in terms of when they're trying to sell the show, whether you like them or not. But Chibnall is just a bit dull, I think. And if you look back at his 1985 appearance on that program, Open Air, he was really dull on that as well. So no change. So
no, he was, and it's very similar to that. Sort of one track and stuff. Lex, thank you for your super chat. A Tom Baker Christmas special would be good. Tom, who this week's of course celebrating a birthday, it would be marvelous.
That's Tuesday, I think, isn't it? His birthday, I think.
Yes,
20th.
yeah. It would be marvelous, but it's not going to happen, is it? It's not.
Yeah.
Tom reading the telephone directory would get really good ratings, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
But I never watched Broadchurch, so I can't comment on it. It never really appealed to me.
Right.
You obviously heard about it because it was everywhere. It was one of those event television things. Yeah, but it was. I think Tennant was riding his post Doctor Who wave at that point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But, Chibnall. I can't imagine him ever having many friends at school. Can you? Really? He probably was one of those where they kept pulling the chair out as he sat down, and he probably deserved it as well. Not that I'm condoning bullying, of course,
no,
but
of course.
I think with Chibnall, it wouldn't have been a bad thing, frankly.
Well, yeah. Woodhouse 122 saying to us, apparently his stage production got a bad write-up in The Guardian. The Guardian of all places. Really?
Well, that is his recent play that he did, isn't it? Yeah.
The one that RTD and Moffat went to see. We reported on that here on Headlines. But yeah, he's in this thing talking about the career. It does get to Doctor Who. They don't dwell on much about it. They really don't. It's not controversial in any way. I would like him to eventually turn up at some sort of interview and say, yes, I did it all deliberately to upset the fan base, because I want him to be honest.
Yeah.
But that's one of the questions Who viewers, if I ever was unfortunate to sit down with Chris Chibnall, I would say to him, did you know that you would upset over 50% of your target audience, i.e. Doctor Who fans, by rewriting the character and casting a woman? Yes or no? I would really want to know. That's the question I would ask.
The trouble is the kind of person who have the question vetted before you ask them, just to make sure there are no any awkward questions that get asked. That's what happens.
Yeah, but also you've got interviewers these days who are desperately trying to be absolutely everything to everybody, and they don't want to be rattling an apple, or what's the word, upsetting the apple cart.
Yeah,
do they? They don't want to be seen that they're against DEI or any of that nonsense. So they wouldn't ask it. I don't give a toss. I'd ask, what did you think about the fact that your ratings plummeted? What did you think about the fact that you're one of the most hated producers Doctor Who's ever had? Up there with RTD, up far more than John Nathan.
We should next time, if you hear about going to a convention, we should all go there and bring our Who's Views viewers as well and get some GNT revenge. That'd be quite good. Get them back.
I personally think, Paul, there are reasons why certain people don't do the convention circuit. Because I would love to get him on stage, because I would make him very uncomfortable with some really good questions that no other bugger would ask.
Well, if you ever plan another convention, you need to invite him. That's what you need to do. Yeah.
I will. But
good stuff.
About this is he's building up to talking about this new thing he's got there. I hate to think what it's like. It's a Netflix commission production, which is a remake of Agatha Christie's Seven Dials mystery. So I'm sure that's full of DEI box ticking all the way through. If you've watched it out there, then you can get in touch with me and let me know. Their email, as you will know by now, it's whosviews1@gmail.com. Let me know if you've watched this on Netflix. What is it like? And is it what you expected from him?
And of course, he's rewritten it to improve it as well, hasn't he? Yeah.
Very probably. In the conversation about Doctor Who, it does talk about his time. It doesn't do anything controversial. It's quite dull, as I say. But one of the things that the interviewer asks is, how does he feel about it now he's left the role? And did he know that Billie Piper was going to be in at the end of the reality war? To which Chibnall says, no. He knew Jodie was coming back because RTD had told him, because it was his doctor. See how they work. It was absolutely nonsense, isn't it? Oh, it's your doctor. You need to know she's coming back. Why? Yeah. He's been insisted, and he went on record when he was when he vacated the role. He says, being polite, that he was quite happy to go back to being a viewer. Do you remember that? Yeah. And that he was quite happy. This old thing about I'm quite happy to watch each week, not knowing what's going to happen. Yeah,
I think they've all said that, haven't they?
They've all come out with that.
Yeah, and yet we know they don't watch. We know they don't want. Nobody's watching this nonsense.
You think Violet's contacted Verity Lambert to say, we've got Hartnell coming back for the Three Doctors? Is that okay?
Exactly. Yeah, it's your doctor. We want you to know about this one thing. Anyway, that was what was going on there. And the whole thing about Billie, he says, no, it was a big surprise, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking as another writer, what I would have said is, it was pretty crap, wasn't it? What would you have done?
He just did it for clicks, didn't he? That's what he'd have said, yeah.
You can't, surely, I'm the ssame with Moffat and any other writer out there. Surely they were watching the reality war going, what the hell is this? Oh, look, there goes the kitchen sink. Do you know what I mean? What was, surely they must have been going, oh, there were problems here in the production. Oh, this was really done with 5 minutes to go. It wasn't Robert Holmes by any stage of the imagination, was it, the reality war? But anyway, the question about this hits, as I say, they talk about Billie Piper. No, I don't know. It's picked up as part of radiotimes.com. Look at the writer's room. Former Doctor Who showrunner Chris Chibnall reacts to Billie Piper regeneration twist. And as I said, he was speaking as part of a wider interview for the Radio Times Writers' Room. What they've written here is the mystery of just what's going on and whether Piper is actually playing the next Doctor has kept fans guessing ever since, with major figures from the show's past and present, including Peter Davison, Colin Baker, and Stephen Moffat, giving their thoughts. Now, Chibnall, who wrote episodes for the 10th and the 11th Doctor before becoming the showrunner for Whittaker's era as the alleged 13th Doctor, has given his reaction. Chibnall was speaking with us exclusively for our video interview series, the Radio Times Writers' Room, in which we get to know what makes screenwriters tick. When he was asked whether he has any idea where the twist involving Piper is going, speaking about the episode in question, Chibnall said, "No, I didn't have any clue when I was watching it. The only thing
neither did Russell."
No, exactly. When I finished, I was very, very clear to Russell that I didn't want to know anything. So I really actually didn't want to know that Jodie was going to regenerate into David, but they were like, you have to know this because you're an exec on this episode. Oh, he continued, "No, I didn't know. I love not to knowing. I love being back as a viewer again. That's really cool. And no, I've never asked and I never want to know. I want to watch it because that's the thing. That's what takes you back to where you start as a 5-year-old or whatever. You're there watching Doctor Who, and to be back in that position, having had your own TARDIS in inverted commas." I didn't really have a TARDIS, but it's lovely to then go back and go, "Oh, what's happening now?"
Cretinous man.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Say what you think, Ian. And as Sliver Wolf's things, sit on the fence, JT. That's what we do on this show.
Yeah,
that's what we do. We're never clear in our opinions here at Who's
I think
Views.
we've broken the fence by this stage, I think.
Yeah. We really need to play it. Funky 1463. Funky is saying to us, Chibnall is the one showrunner that can't say anything about toxic fans after his 80s interview. Again, it's an example of hypocrisy, conveniently forgetting certain things, and conveniently forgetting that an awful lot of us were still around when he got the job.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. I never liked him. From those moments I met him all those years ago, I just thought, oh, no, I don't like you for some reason. Reviews, rants, and religions would say, sadly, Chibnall would probably just lie to you. Yeah, but I would be expecting that if I was interviewing reviews, and I would really, really, really not let him get off the stage without answering my question. I would like, no, come on, honestly, what did you really think about the plummet in your ratings?
Because I wonder, we've talked this before, whether or not he'd actually said to BBC deliberately, "I'll do it if I can cast a woman," and they bought into that. He tried to call their bluff, didn't they? I think, and they expected him to say no, probably.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what he said. You know, he went to lunch, as these people do, to talk about taking over. It seems like he didn't really want to do Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I think he's also said that now, made that clear. He didn't want to do it. So you're right, Paul. He's implied that he called their bluff by basically saying, the only way I'll do it is if I can have a woman in the role of Doctor Who. And the BBC, of course, being DEI clipboard, aficionados and so obsessed with it, went, "Oh, what a great idea. That's so inclusive, and it's so exciting, and it's all those stupid words I can't stand." And so they said yes. So he was pretty much stuck and committed then, wasn't he?
He was, yeah, exactly. Yeah, serves him right, really, to be fair.
True.
Thanks, Legion of James. Absolutely. Hartnell's Ghost is saying to us, ask Chibnall's up if he intentionally wrote multiple plot holes and why. Well, RTD is very good at that as well, isn't he? We're getting plot hole after plot hole after plot hole, really.
And to be fair,
well, you wonder how many people in this
didn't
writer's room. He had a writer's room, didn't he? How many people were in that writer's room? Was there anyone else apart from him? Just him?
Too many, obviously.
Sorry, you carry on.
No, I was just saying Moffat did it as well, really. He left a lot of things up in the air, and things just got too convoluted with him. And he was just irritating long before he actually left. You know, earlier you said take it all the way back to Capaldi. I would take it and erase all of Capaldi and have it just as the Doctor turns into Capaldi and take it from there. I'd even get rid of his stories because they were crap, and we all know he wasn't well served. But Moffat was just as bad, really.
Yeah. Well, as we showed in our show last week with headlines with Capaldi's interview, I still say that he's quite cagey when it comes to the subject of Doctor Who. He knows he's going to have to talk about it, but doesn't want to. The fact he hasn't gone back to or taken up the offer that Bog Fanish would have absolutely have offered him by now says an awful lot. The guy's done with Doctor Who. He's moved on. We're not getting him back ever. I guarantee you, he's not coming back. It's not going to happen. And good for him. He's moved on. Close the door. JT says, Funky, I will be in contact with my Agatha Christie expert this week, and I will find her opinion and let you know. Please do. Please do. Because I've watched some Agatha Christie. I love Agatha Christie. I'm a big fan of the books, especially my beloved Miss Marple, of which Joan Hickson is the Miss Marple. I'm terrified about who's going to get the job next for this next thing they're doing. But I have seen recently, over the last God knows how many years, some incredibly bad interpretations of Miss Marple, of Agatha Christie books. Yeah. And they have changed them, haven't they? One of our very first shows from Headlines a couple of years ago dealt with the DEI casting in an Agatha Christie. You know,
my wife's a massive fan of Agatha Christie, and like you, she loves Joan Hickson. Although we both love, although she's really wrongly cast, is Margaret Rutherford, who's superb as Miss Marple in the 60s movies. Yeah, and that theme's incredible, and our partner in it as well is Mr. Stringer is brilliant. But it's Joan Hickson's definitive, and even since she stopped doing it, there's been many of the great actors playing the part, but none could touch her. No. It's like Kenneth Branagh as Poirot is awful. That bloody moustache, what's going on there? Oh my God!
Well, I don't know what KB was thinking there at all. So, was he? But that's what he wanted, and it was his film, so that's what he got. Yeah. But no, I mean, Margaret Rutherford though. Yeah. You know, what they did is they took elements of the books and shoved them all together to make her film. So it's very confusing. Yeah. The best one to get to, if you're outside the UK, is find the BBC 1980s classic Miss Marple, starring the legend that is Joan Hickson, because it's absolutely the books. It's as near to the books, damn it, as you're going to get. And she's just perfect.
Yeah.
And then when you get those nonsense things that ITV produced recently over the last 10, 15, 20 years, whatever that was, with Julia Mackenzie, God love her, I love her. And
Geraldine McEwan as well.
Geraldine McEwan, God bless her.
Yeah.
Both two great actresses, but they weren't Miss Marple. And they were slightly camp.
Yeah.
They were camp. And
particularly Geraldine McEwan, she was very camp, wasn't she?
She was so old. I couldn't watch them. I really couldn't watch them. Jess Corbin, Seven Dials Mystery, Agatha Christie, expect some DEI woke messaging, including gender and. Yeah, it's all that sort of stuff. Davey B's joined us. Hello, Davey B. Good to see you with your Robin Sherwood avatar as usual. Stay tuned. And we've also got Stephen O'Neill saying to us, we should have a ban on Agatha Christie remakes. We've had enough of them to sink a battleship.
It's a bit like what's happened with the Harry Potter TV series about gender swaps and ethnicity swaps and stuff like that. If you're going to take an IP, don't change it. If you don't want to use that IP, don't use it. Do something else.
Yeah.
Black lesbian. I'll tell you. Black lesbian. I'll tell you now. I'll call it now. She'll be a black lesbian.
Well, that'll go
in 1950.
Yeah. Well, you know.
YCC was picked to be showrunner is beyond me, says Matt Enspiel. Well, because he was part of the clique. You know, it was part of the clique. Yeah. RCD selected Moffat, clique. Moffat selected Chibnall, clique. There was no way they were going to get it to someone out of the clique, were they? Or someone who didn't think like them. That's the problem with the whole thing now. It's a massive poisonous clique. Count 1970 Lives. It's just hard to wrap your head around what they've done to Doctor Who. It's almost like the remit was to destroy it as completely as possible. Nothing else makes sense. Yeah, I can't believe we are where we are. To be quite honest, with Doctor Who, it's in the toilet, isn't it, guys?
Totally.
If there be something lower than the toilet, it's definitely there. Yeah.
It's in the pipes.
Yes. It's in the U-bend at this point. Yes.
Stuck.
PT Muzak is saying
somebody desperately attacking it with a coat hanger.
PT Muzak is saying to us, guys, most interviewers suck up to so-called stars, especially at conventions. Yeah, the brilliant thing about that, PT Music, is I'm not most interviewers, and I don't care. You know, I've done my stint trying to be acting and in that industry. I know how it can work. I know how it can be. I don't really care. They're just normal people who are going to end up a box like the rest of us. And you know, at the moment as well, not many of them impress me. I mean, I could sit down with Barbara Streisand and tell her off. And I love her. Same with Madonna. And I love her. And just say, why are you doing this? Do you know how ridiculous you sound? You know how out of touch you are? You're getting this wrong. And that's a conversation. And I think that's the important thing about it. So, you know, I'm over it, quite frankly. I don't care. I just don't care. Grant Griffiths is saying to us, when it comes to Chibnall, I just hope JNT is watching on, having a good giggle. Yes, so do I, actually.
Yeah. It's just desserts, exactly. Yeah.
If he was alive today, he'd love it, Ian. I tell you, he'd be loving it.
I'm sure he absolutely would. I mean, Chibnall and his, I'm not going to say his mates because I referred to earlier, I genuinely don't think he had any. His people around him were very, very rude, and well out of order when it came to talking to J&T and Pip and Jane Baker. They were absolutely disrespectful prats. And I didn't think that Pip and Jane Baker wrote the best stories, to be quite honest. I think they were procedural, very obvious, and not that engaging. But you know what? Mark and the Rani introduced a good character at the end of the day, sadly destroyed in recent years. But, you know, but J&T, he did not deserve that at all. He put his life and soul and his health, I think, into Doctor Who. And then you've got some smarmy, pimply little prick in a really tacky tie sat on a discussion show thinking he's clever and taking the piss. And then he comes later and produces stuff like what he produced. He has no moral standing at all.
Well, compared to Pip and Jane Baker, their writing compared to his is like Robert Holmes. You know what I mean? It's really, it's so much better. It really is. You know.
Yeah, but as I say, what comes around goes around. Yeah. And you know, I wasn't invested in Doctor Who during those years. Because I knew he was going to ruin it. I'd heard some things coming along the pipeline. One of the things somebody had told me is they said to me, he's going to annoy an awful lot of original Doctor Who fans. And then the casting came along about a month later. And I thought, there's the start of it. This is the start of it. So I was out at that point. But I'm aware of the criticism at that time. And I just thought, ho, 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 this is very funny, isn't it? I've heard all this before from somebody else. So, yeah.
But it carries on, doesn't it, JT? Sorry, it carries on, though, doesn't it? Because you look at Gatwa and what the hell was her name? Bitchface. Gatwa and Bitchface saying, we're really going to piss off some people, aren't we? It's that attitude.
Let's use the names. Who's that? Who do you mean?
Belinda.
What was she called? Belinda. Yeah, Belinda. The actress name. Oh, no, I just know her as Bitchface. Yeah, she's that memorable. But they said in that interview, didn't they, that they were going to piss off so many people. And it's the same attitude. Yeah. Chibnall set out with it. They set out with it, and they found it funny.
Mm. Yeah. Belinda Chandra. Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't remember the actress name.
Wasn't that it? I don't know. Who cares? We're talking about the story there that we've reported a couple of times on headlines, most recently on our review of the year for last year, where the lady who played the companion was interviewed, and her and Ncuti, she said, were on the TARDIS set one day, laughing about the fact that because they were two non-white people on the TARDIS set, they were going to annoy an awful lot of people, which at that point, you know, none of us ever noticed because we're not like that.
Yeah, that was the least of our worries about what's happening with the TV show. Let's be honest.
Yes. Yeah. It's the assumption from these people, though, that everybody's an ist or a not or a phobe, and that's what we've always been arguing against. Bugger off with your assumptions. Keep it to yourself because you are wrong. You are wrong, and you are nasty people, and you are exactly what you imply others are. Stephen Braddock is saying to us here, I remember that awful open-air interview where he tore into Pip and Jane Baker. Apart from poor writing, karma is a bitch. And Macronon is saying to us, I think Third Doctor, he needs to watch Mummy on the Orient Express. Capaldi was an amazing doctor. Also, don't forget the Zygon speech. Oh, bloody Zygon speech. I'm sorry, that Zygon speech for me went on for days. I was just like, what the hell is this? Oh, my God, knock it off. I can't stand all that sort of stuff, Macronon. Sorry. Big speeches can't be done with it.
I think Capaldi was a good doctor. I just think he was really, really badly served. I've got nothing against Capaldi. That's why I would take it back to when he took over from Matt Smith, because I think Capaldi, with a decent producer and decent script editor and decent scripts, would be absolutely amazing, and I would love to see it. So I don't think Capaldi was bad by any means. I think the people around him were bloody awful.
He was totally wasted.
Yeah.
That's the problem. He was too good.
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah, he was too good. It was such a shame because, he was brilliant. He was brilliant. But I think if they'd listened to him more and perhaps done what they wanted to, he wanted to, then it could have been a lot better than we actually got. Thank you for this. Digital Pollutionist, and it's been in the toilet since 2010. Yeah. Count 1970 lives. Behave yourself. Matthew Pounder is saying to us, Mark of the Rani and the Vervoids were entertaining, and that's what you want. They were entertaining. Mark of the Rani is one of my favorite stories from Colin's era.
It's nice to see Colin in a historical setting, which is lovely, I think.
And even though he's wearing that bloody coat, it works.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Because he works, because he understands it, you know. So it's good stuff. Andy's here. Andy likes Stuff Channel. I lost some serious street cred when they announced the 13th. My son witnessed my major meltdown. Yeah. There was a lot of eye rolling where I lived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just remember seeing the reveal was it on the between the tennis or whatever with Jodie with the hood up and getting the key and all that kind of stuff. And I just knew from the eyes it was a woman. I was like, oh God, no.
Yeah. I sort of had been tipped off about it the day before. Again, with a friend of mine who phoned and said, you need to be sitting down for it tomorrow because you're not going to be happy. And I thought, oh God, I know what they've done now. It's going to be stunt casting, blah, blah, blah.
You must have burst a blood vessel, did you?
No, I actually just went, they've gone there.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew, it's not for me. I'm going to be out. I'm going to be out at this point. But call me what you want. I don't care. Hi, Paul Rose. Yeah, Count 1970 lives as Paul Rose. Hello, mate. How are you? Neostin. I hope they do not bring another CGI monster as a villain.
Yeah.
Me too. How many do you need? And they're all bloody rubbish. These CGI monsters we've had in the last two alleged series of Doctor Who are going to date so quickly because they were so awful.
Yeah. Particularly Omega. Omega was terrible, wasn't it? That was just awful. Yeah.
Omega should never be CGI. What the hell were they thinking? You know, how to
they lose that opportunity of having somebody in a costume, and like with Omega with a helmet or whatever. Same with Sutek, really. If you have that, they have a presence, and no matter what you do with CGI, you can't give it a physical presence in the room because the actors are not acting to anything, are they? It loses so much. Such a shame.
Yeah, and the thing is, he and the Rani were only there for 2 minutes. Legacy characters destroyed by this person who's supposed to, this man, that's supposed to be looking after the show.
They should have just had Rani in it. Having Rani and Omega was too much anyway for any story, you know. And the women who fit Rani was superb. It's like they could have used her much better. And she was wasted completely, you know.
Totally wasted. Absolutely wasted. Gosh, yeah. Well, anyway, that's what we're up to. So, yeah, that was just another point there. Billie Piper, brand new job. Another one. Good for her. Hope the film's good. Look forward to seeing it whenever it comes out. Hope it's done right. But and then we've also got Chibnall not knowing what's going on. No surprise there. Right, so... Oh, goodness me. Yes, you're watching Headlines here on Who's Views. It's the 18th of January, 2026. We are live. It's just gone 9:30 here in the UK. Can we get away with it? Can we get away with this? I don't know.
Yes, we can. Yes.
We can. We can. How long do you think the numbers will go up?
They might do. It's like a YouTube test card, isn't it? It's quite good.
This, of course, was the absolutely brilliant stunt, I'm going to call it, and I'm being polite there, from Nerdrotic, a giant of the tube of Who, as we all know. And he proved an amazing point this week. As you'll know, Star Trek Starfleet Academy, the latest in the alleged Star Trek series, was launched this week. And what a spectacular failure it was indeed. You'll know from the likes of Nerdrotic and other apparently alleged channels. But this is what happened. They did this. Nerdrotic put this out, and they've all been talking about it. Now, I don't know if you guys have looked at any of the reviews. I, of course, will always go to the Critical Drinker because he's one of the other giants, isn't he? So I looked at his breakdown of this new series of Star Trek, and I just thought, again, it's exactly what all science fiction fans will expect now. It is preaching. It is the DEI tick boxing. How can you have a gay Klingon? They don't care, do they? These people do not care. This was a tweet or an X from Nerdrotic himself. My live stream with a Spock action figure in an empty chair beat Star Trek Starfleet Academy's 1,300 peak live viewers on YouTube in under 3 minutes. Now, people like this is amazing for me because this shows the power of YouTube, gentlemen. Because people like Nerdrotic and can command millions of views these days. They really can. You know, their shows are huge shows. And I've often joked that they're pulling in more than some of the terrestrial television shows, certainly here in the UK. And it must wind them up. But to come up with this thing where he's going to see, and all it was the picture of the dummy of Spock on the chair as a live stream. That's all it was. And to get more than the free episode of the brand new Star Trek says it all, doesn't it? I mean, what a genius thing to do.
Why was it shown on YouTube anyway in the first place? It seems a bizarre thing to do for free. If you have to subscribe to Paramount to watch it, that's incredibly brave of them to do that, you know, particularly.
I think it's the same mind virus that RTD has, that Kurtzman has, that it will be so incredibly popular. People will demand to see it on as many platforms as possible. And all they've done is go and humiliate themselves in the most fantastic way. And you know, kudos to Nerdrotic. I love his channel, and he's got absolute balls of steel doing that, hasn't he? Because I mean, he'd have had no idea how it was going to work out. He would have had his hunch, and he's usually on the money. Really, is usually on the money, and he certainly is when it comes to Doctor Who. He really knows his stuff, and so he took a punt on that, and he absolutely smashed it out the ground. I mean, you know, hats off to him. Brilliant.
It's brilliant. Let's just get these super chats done first. Lex, thank you for your super chat. Cynthia Arrivo is playing Dracula in the West End. I know. She's also played Jesus.
And again, she looks like Nosferatu.
I was just about to say that. He beat me to it.
It's another example, though, of the stupidity in the alleged entertainment industry. They're doing things now just to wind people up and be controversial and to get headlines.
Yeah.
All this gender swapping role nonsense, it's boring now. We're fed up with it, everybody. You know, get with the program. And Marie UK, thank you for your super chat. Live long and whose views? Well, thank you so much for that. Kirsty is saying to us here, a female Jem'Hadar was in this thing.
They're not supposed to have females. They were genetically engineered, I think, by the shapeshifters. Yeah. And I don't think they had females. So, you know.
Yeah. What I'm thinking, is another super chat as well. Thank you, Core Sci-Fi Fantasy. A question for Third Doctor Ian, who I do love, but disagree with on Peter Capaldi's era. Did you not like Deep Breath or Heaven Sent or Twice Upon a Time?
No, I didn't. I thought Deep Breath was overly. It was Moffat trying to be. Is the Doctor a murderer? You know, pushing the guy out of the balloon thing at the end.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the look to camera and everything. So you're trying to, and then a couple of episodes later, having to sit Clara down and say, "Am I a good man?" You're the freaking Doctor, for God's sake. You know, you haven't lost your memory at this point. You know you're a pissing good man. It's just being given a shit script to say. And Heaven Sent, I think, was overly long and plodding, really. And Twice Upon a Time, I found indulgent, to be fair. And very disrespectful to Hartnell's Doctor and Legacy.
That's one I've not seen. I was wondering which one that
was.
I used to feel like that about that one, Ian, but I really like it now. And if you can get past the joke about Hartnell, it's actually quite a fun experience. I quite like it. But
I didn't mind him in the episode that ended in the train tunnel. You know, the
Flatline, was it Flatline? Yeah.
Yes, Flatline. Yeah. I didn't mind that, to be quite honest. He had a little speech at the end of that, you know, the usual Earth protected, blah, blah, bollocks. But
I know when he fights the monsters speech, isn't it? That
one? Because that was just an extension of what Tennant would spit out, wasn't it? It is defended, which then Matt Smith did in his first episode. It's like, dear God, you know, we get it now. But that wasn't a bad episode, but I don't think he had that many good ones, to be fair.
Oops. Thanks for that, Ian. I've got this from Jess. Paramount Plus, read that YouTube episode, was to let viewers decide if they liked it enough to encourage subscription to their streaming. Now,
that backfired massively then.
It did backfire massively, absolutely. And I guarantee you they'll be aware of what Nerdrotic has done here, and they won't be happy about it. But Jess, you are correct. And I really, really think this is what they're trying to do. The Tube of Who, YouTube, is attractive to young people. And young people watch this platform and they look for things specifically for themselves. Now, I think, and this is what Jess is saying, but I think the people like Paramount Plus, other channels, and especially, we're going to come to them, the BBC, have only now clicked on to how big YouTube is and how its audience is massive. A lot of shows on YouTube get more views than they're pushing out on the terrestrials. You know, certainly the BBC has been affected by this with certain shows on YouTube, especially the American ones, the big boys I'm talking about, like Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, etc., etc. But they're getting more views than some of their shows. Now, this is where I think things are going to be now more aware. Now, because of what he's done with this Spock dolly, and just sat it there, and it's done so well. Absolutely. I mean, I actually looked at it myself because Kirsty messaged me and said, have you seen what Nerdrotic's doing? And I went on and I went, this is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. There's nothing happening apart from this Spock dolly, you know, sitting on a chair going, you know, live long and prosper. And it was just absolutely amazing. What's this from Robert? Robert is saying, later Paramount bragged that it had 125,000 or so views, and Nerdrotic came back to point out FNT had 130,000.
That's his Friday Night Tights show, isn't it?
Oh, is that the right? Thank you. Yeah, well, there you go. And when you look at the amount of subscriptions these channels have got, I could only dream that Who's Views would get that many. We're just a little British channel, you know.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year, yeah. but it just, for me, is huge. It's absolutely huge. And it's interesting to see what's going to happen here in the UK. Because this week, an organisation in Britain called Defund the BBC did this. BBC in denial over YouTube dominance. I'm going to read you this story. BBC staff in denial as audiences flee in droves to YouTube. The BBC is the last soldier still trying to fight a war that everyone else knows has already ended. After YouTube beat the BBC in BARB's monthly audience figures for the first time, panicked BBC insiders insist to the Times that the broadcaster continues to comfortably dominate YouTube in more long-form content. It's an example, as Defund the BBC say, of everything is fine, there's nothing to see here. I always think of Leslie Nielsen when I say that. According to Barb, YouTube reached 51.9 million viewers in the United Kingdom last month, over 1 million more than the BBC on 50.8 million. That's also far ahead of ITV. Even taking the BBC bigwigs' preferred statistic points to an obvious trend, the broadcaster's average 15-minute reach was 47 million in 2025 compared to 40.8 million for YouTube. Again, their comment is that figure will only trend in one direction. And they're correct, aren't they, guys? It's going to increase even more.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
They continue with the BBC will stagger on with this unsustainable model for a while longer. Under Labour, there is next to zero chance of the license fee being scrapped, even as millions refuse to pay it. And again, a comment from them, but it is clearly an analog product in a digital world. I think that's spot on from Defund the BBC and the Times that printed the original article, which I couldn't get hold of because Times, it was behind a paywall, but I'm giving you a credit. I'm not paying for you. So, you know, there's this, I mean, this stuff is, to me, it's common sense. It's pretty obvious. I don't know what you guys think about this initially.
Well, I mean, I spend a lot of time on YouTube, so I'm one of those viewers who watches it more than the BBC, to be honest. In fact, you sometimes find programs that you may have had on DVD and they're actually up there on YouTube in their entirety, which is weird, you know?
Yeah.
You can find anything you want from archive TV from last year to 50 years ago, you know? It's incredible, you know?
One of the things that I love about... Sorry, and go on.
No, I was just going to say, you know how the BBC's got form for forcing you to buy the license fee or pay the license fee in order to watch other stuff that's got nothing to do with the BBC. I think this is just a step, really. I think it's a progression. You know, they'll put stuff on YouTube and then they'll try and apply rules to it.
I'm glad you said this, because this is now taking us to the next part of this. And this all ties in with the fact that I love YouTube since I really discovered it around about 2018, 2019, because it brings us all together. You know, we can watch Nerdrotic, who's in America. We can watch The Critical Drinker, who I think is in the British Isles. Is he Ireland or something like that? I don't know.
I think Ireland, I think, yeah.
I think, and I love him to bits. Yeah. He's so good. I will go to him, for example, when he's reviewed a film that I'm thinking to go and see, and I will take into consideration what he has told me. And then I'll make my own decision of whether I'm going to go and see that film, right?
Yeah.
But his opinion means something to me. Now, that used to be Barry Norman back in the day on the BBC and film whatever year it happened to be. For me now, it's The Critical Drinker. I like looking occasionally at Nerdrotic shows, although I don't watch too many other shows in case I'm ever told I'm copying somebody for our shows, which I never do. But occasionally that thing with Spock, and of course I was very interested in everybody's opinion over the new Star Trek, because I quite like Star Trek. I hated Discovery. Strange New Worlds was okay until they all burst out singing, and then I switched the bloody thing off and didn't go back, because that's not for me. I don't want to see Klingons doing a whole jolly thing. La, 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 la. You know, we had that in Doctor Who. I don't want it in anything else. And I love the fact that even here on our little channel, we get people from all over the world. I love that. It brings us together. We find our communities, don't we? And it's fantastic. It's just brilliant. And it's nice to hear those sorts of things that are going on. As Marie's saying to us here, the BBC always tells lies about YouTube, saying you need a license to watch anything live on YouTube. Raymond Williams is saying to us, are the BBC deliberately joining with YouTube so they can then muddy the waters and get the government to include YouTube in the license fee payments? Hi, Cara Hughes. Cara's joining us. She's having internet problems her end. You're fine, darling. Pop in and out as much as you want, Madam Matron. Yes. Anyway, back to the story. The other thing about this is that the BBC is desperate for younger viewers. Why are they desperate for younger viewers? Because they think they're going to pay the license fee when the time comes. It's as simple as that. It's a way of keeping the license fee going. We are guilty of that. We were brought up in a totally different United Kingdom to what we're in now. And we were brought up to be bloody polite. We were brought up in a culture that did things, and the TV license was there. You just paid it. You never questioned it in our days, remember? So when you left home, you set up home. Don't forget to get your license fee. You have to have a license fee. Your mum, dad, or somebody around you would say, and you toddle off to the post office and go and get it. You know, you didn't question it. We also didn't mind question it because the television was good.
Yeah.
Over the last 15 years, we've seen that whole thing change here in the UK, haven't we? And we've seen it change desperately in Doctor Who. Yeah.
Well, I think with the advent of social media and everything, where people are discussing things more, it's become more apparent and more evident that the BBC that we're forced to pay for views us with contempt. And that will just breed resentment, won't it? Why should you pay for something that you don't always watch, or probably don't ever watch, but thinks you are basically scum anyway? Why would you want to?
Can I at this point just say, I'm so sorry to the Critical Drinker, because everybody in the chat is telling me he's Scottish. I didn't realize he's just gone even further in my estimation now, because he's brilliant. He's brutal.
Well, I apologize as well, because I thought he was Irish as well. So that's interesting. I'm Scottish myself. You may have noticed.
Are you?
This is fantastic.
I had no idea. I had no idea.
How fabulous is that? Kirsty's saying to us, he's Fife. He's in Fife. Oh, somebody slap me, but don't warn me. Dunfermline, though, says Raymond. He's saying Dunfermline. And Robert Payne is saying the drinker is Scottish. Go away now.
There is a very good channel, another very good channel. I don't think as large, but I don't think as large as Critical Drinker, and certainly not as large as Nerdrotic, called The Dave Cullen Show. And he does very good. Yeah. And he's Irish,
isn't he? Yeah, that's
he's Irish.
That's what I'm getting mixed up with. Thank you. I quite like Dave Cullen because he's another one I will go to as he's previewing something. I saw his take on this new Star Trek as well. Nobody was very complimentary about the new Star Trek. And then I looked at some of them that actually, somehow, they managed to put in clips of the episode, and that was enough to put me off even going anywhere near the episode.
I've seen a few pictures from it. It looks terrible, and I've heard other people it's dreadful. Yeah,
Alex Kurtzman, RTD, round them up, put them in a field, and ... If you're a Kenny Everett fan, you'll know where I'm going. But that's really what that's where I'm going with it. They are cut from the same cloth, those two. The destroyers of franchises. Let's put Kathleen Kennedy into that as well, shall we? Thank God she's now out of the picture. But good grief, these people. And I still think, guys, no disrespect to you two, but I still think it's because these people that have come in over the last 20 years went and looked at science fiction as a whole and thought that's just full of white heterosexual males and they need to be told there's more than their little lives. And therefore missing the whole point and not understanding that science fiction was as diverse and absolutely 100% inclusive before they got there, because it's now extremely exclusive. It's for a pure little flag-waving, pronoun-using minority. That many people, idiots. I've gone off on a tangent. I'm doing what you two do. Chris, thank you so much.
There's nothing wrong with that. Okay.
It'll be the tangent triplets, won't it?
Yeah.
I'm not a triplet. I'm a free man. Anyway, we've got this from Chris Lawley with the super chat. BBC with BritBox has opportunity streaming, but sold it off to ITVX. What do you think? Chris, I think we're going to come to answering that as we go on further into this story. So what I'm trying to say, guys, is I think the BBC have now twigged that YouTube is more popular than them. And I think they've twigged that the audience they crave desperately to sustain their future with a TV license is on YouTube. A few of you have picked up already what I'm going to be looking at right now, because it looks like this week the BBC is going to be announcing a broadcasting partnership with YouTube. Now, bear in mind, for Doctor Who, we've got a teeny weeny cartoon coming. Okay, for the teeny weeny ones, the little babas. I am saying this right now on the 18th of January. I think that will be broadcast first on YouTube. I think it will be put on the YouTube under this deal if it goes ahead. Let's get some information. It's from this. I've selected from the Financial Times. The BBC to show programs on YouTube in landmark deal. The British public sector broadcaster will make unique shows for the platform and generate revenue from ads overseas. The BBC is set to announce a major content deal with YouTube to make programs for the platform for the first time, marking a landmark shift in the broadcaster's relationship with a US tech platform stealing its audience. The BBC will begin to make bespoke shows for YouTube, which will then subsequently be featured on the iPlayer and the Sounds platforms, according to several people close to the talks. The deal could be announced as early as next week. Now, that's this week. The BBC will be able to generate more money from the move by showing advertising against the new programs when shown outside the UK. This will bolster income from the license fee, which provides the majority of funding for the cooperation. In the United Kingdom, the BBC does not raise money through advertising for its public service broadcasting content, even on third-party platforms, and don't they let us know it. The decision to produce shows to premiere on YouTube will mark a major departure for the publicly funded corporation, which has so far stressed the importance of its own iPlayer streaming platform alongside traditional channels such as BBC One and BBC Two. The broadcaster has previously used YouTube, which is owned by Alphabet, mostly for trailers and clips to promote its shows in the UK. The deal will represent an effort by the BBC to attract and retain younger audiences. It also underscores the difficulties of many traditional broadcasters in competing with the deep pockets of US streamers such as Netflix and Disney, as well as YouTube. People close to the talk said shows made for YouTube would be focused towards the younger audiences, which increasingly rely on YouTube as their primary source of TV content, such as those typically made by BBC Three, as well as children's programs and sports-focused content. News formats will also be developed to be shown over YouTube, said one person familiar with the situation, as part of an effort to help counter the information of misinformation and disinformation spread by fake news over social media. The deal comes as the BBC is fighting a $10 billion defamation lawsuit from President Donald Trump over allegedly misleadingly editing his speech from January the 6th, 2021, the day the rioters stormed the US Capitol building. The agreement is expected to cover both the domestic public service broadcasting arm as well as formalizing existing relationships with its commercially focused BBC studios. A limited amount of older series may also be available to be shown on YouTube. People familiar with the situation added, but this was not the focus of the deal. In December, the number of people watching YouTube in the UK overtook the BBC's combined channels for the first time, according to the rating agency Barb. Close to 52 million people watched YouTube on televisions, smartphones, and laptops in December, compared with the almost 51 million who watched the BBC based on viewers who watched for more than 3 minutes. Younger viewers also now typically use the YouTube app on internet-connected TVs, making the service a more direct competitor with traditional linear broadcasters. Many media executives believe that further partnerships or even consolidation is inevitable. Netflix has struck a deal with French commercial broadcaster TF1 to carry linear and on-demand content, while ITV and Disney carry each other's streaming services. In the UK, ITV and Comcast Sky are expected to argue that the strength of platforms such as YouTube is why competition authorities should give their proposed $1.6 billion merger the green light. BBC executives have already said that they will need to build partnerships with other public sector broadcasters to compete with the global streamers, from sharing back office services to floating more extreme ideas, such as the merger of the BBC channels with Channel 4. The BBC and YouTube declined to comment. I bet they did. We'll know more about that story this week if the deal is made public this week. I'm fascinated by this, guys. Absolutely fascinated, because there it is. It's younger. Have you noticed, though, Who viewers, that every Saturday on the BBC's Doctor Who Tube of Who channel, they've been doing what they call a live stream of old Doctor Who's chopped together.
Clips. Yeah, yeah.
Could that be a possible slot for Doctor Who in the future?
Maybe. What annoys me the most about this is why they can't take advertising on the BBC. You know what I mean? It's like everyone else does it. They've not done advertising at all ever in their life, really, apart from the odd advert for the TV license. But they kind of really should do that. There's no excuse for that, really. You know, and then we don't have to pay for it. If you get advertising, then that'll be fine. We can not have to pay for it. Be great.
I think years ago they said that when there was just ITV and the BBC, they said the BBC couldn't do advertising because there wasn't enough advertising revenue to go around. And now you've got so many cable and satellite channels, and there's more than enough revenue to go around, and there still is. The BBC could do it. They're just like fleecing the British public. But I think something here. You know, they referenced the £10 billion court case with Trump.
Yes.
Which the BBC absolutely deserved to get battered on, because they did it. It wasn't a mistake. We know they did it deliberately, allegedly. Personally, I think they did it deliberately. They've always had an anti-Trump narrative, and the BBC seem to have deliberately done it. I think they did it deliberately, personally. But if Trump's got a court case against the BBC and Alphabet is an American company, I wonder if Trump could put the kibosh on it just for badness, or if nothing else, an injunction. Hang on a minute, American company, I'm the president of the United States, and they're in a legal dispute with me for lying. Until this case is finished, I want an injunction on that, and that'd really screw up their plans and would be funny as hell.
It'd be interesting if that would happen. I would hope that Trump, being a businessman, would back off and let them do a business deal, and I'll tax them.
And then they get their money. Yeah, like exactly.
Yeah. Which is the easiest thing for a president to do, isn't it? As we're seeing, I think we're being punished at the moment, unfortunately, with what's going on. The whole thing about this, though, is this is the BBC waking up. This is them actually looking at figures and saying, guys, oh, we're in trouble. And their insistency in, as you were saying there, that they won't take advertising was proved so wrong.
Yeah.
As you gave the examples of all the other channels that do it, even the non-approved channels like GB News take adverts.
Yeah.
They're not
the adverts on YouTube are incredible. If you don't get the YouTube pay the subscription for no adverts, which I've never done because I'm too tight, is like there's so many adverts, constant adverts. You get it's worse than American television, honestly. It really is.
Yeah. It's true. There's lots of questions that are coming from this. Let's just go to the chat quickly before I start asking those questions. Bill is saying to us, look at what the BBC license gets you. Used to be the argument to buy a license. Now it's the argument not to buy one. I totally agree. But we used to get, Bill, didn't we? And we've chatted about this, Bill. We used to get quality. We used to get entertainment. We used to get good news that you could rely on. Now it's questionable, and I don't get entertained by anything the BBC put out there. I mean, all these things. Strictly Come Dancing's been going for over 20 years. Doctor Who's 20 years old. It's old. You can't trust the BBC News. Somebody on our Facebook page, our Who's Views Facebook page, didn't like me saying that. And I can't remember who it was. I think it was Simon, and he came across and said, I'd put a post in there about, when the BBC was reliable, whether it's news. And I don't think he quite liked that, but it's there. You can go and have a look at it. But I wouldn't trust the BBC for their news. I've often said if YouTube had its own news center and its own news shows, I possibly might look at that, but it would be produced by somebody else, wouldn't it? Hartnell's Ghost, BBC Studios has a large Doctor Who presence on YouTube. It does, and that's why I'm thinking this cartoon that they're doing for the babies, I reckon it will get put onto YouTube first. Now, that's happened before with various things that have gone on to be huge. I don't think Bluey was an example, but Peppa Pig definitely was, and I think possibly even Paw Patrol. Things like that were shown on YouTube first, became massive because the kids are there. They found their cartoons, they found their characters before they even find it on CBBC, which is now on some stupid other channel.
I have no idea how this is going to work, this cartoon thing. Was it going to be Doctor Who the early years, the Doctor in kindergarten and the academy? What's going on? How that's going to work? I have no idea. I can't imagine them being scares and thrills in it, even for little ones. You know what I mean? It's incredible.
Yeah. I like this. Jess is saying to us, the BBC already have their YouTube channel. It's specific to them. It often shows Doctor Who. Saturday nights. When I saw this story, and it's been in the back of my head for a while, is this some sort of trying to build an audience for stuff they're doing for a Saturday night? Instead of putting it on the iPlayer first, put it on YouTube, and then iPlayer. Because remember in the article, it did say with YouTube being worldwide, it didn't work for Star Trek, though. And this is the other reason I think that the Starfleet Academy was done this way. Yes, they were trying to find that new audience, the new minority audience they're all desperate to get, right? It's supposed to be, one fan called it Beverly Hills 90210 in space. Never watching a game, this fan said. Once was enough. So it's supposed to be all about that. It's supposed to be about teenage angst and all this nonsense, right?
Oh, God.
I'm probably doing what RTD does. Kurtzman's probably going to put anxiety onto any young kid that watches it, thinking, oh, my God, it's so awful, blah, blah, blah. Oh, give over. But there's other questions coming from it as well, isn't there? From our point of view, the license fee. Now it will become SpewTube, says Matthew Brown. Woodhouse wanted to agree with myself. I can see the Doctor Who cartoon being on the YouTube Kids app. BBC on YouTube, says Matt Enspiel. I can't wait. For a serious moment, says Funky, I think this is the future for BBC Three. Who says, this is Tall Paul NKY. Nice to see you, Tall Paul. I watched Seven Dials on Netflix and enjoyed it. Did you? Thank you so much for letting me know. I'd like to know more. John, the computer doctor, the BBC are desperate. Yes. I think that's what comes out of this whole thing about YouTube. That's getting our audience. More people are watching YouTube now.
If they make you get a license to watch YouTube, how will that work with people who pay YouTube for the premium membership?
This is a big question, isn't it? This is a big question because, as you know, or maybe you don't know if you're outside the UK, but here in the United Kingdom, forever, we've had this little thing called the license fee. It started when the radio was around, then it moved into a television. I'm going to say this again because some of you might be new to hearing this. In the United Kingdom, when you buy a television, you have to buy a BBC television license in order to use it. Yes, it sounds ridiculous, and in this day and age, it bloody well is. It includes all live television. Now, according to the BBC, you need a television license for YouTube if you are watching live hang on a minute. Let me go to this one first. Let me go to in order. Yes. According to the BBC, you need a television license for YouTube only if you're watching live television broadcasts or live streams that are part of a scheduled TV channel. What? They love all this word salad. They deliberately go out to confuse people in order to try and nab people that don't have a license. So this will include live news or sports shows simultaneously on television and YouTube. So if the BBC guys start putting stuff out onto YouTube, right, it's classed as live television, and therefore you need a license to view it on YouTube. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
However, the government website, Paul, says very clearly, you do not need a television license to watch streaming services like Netflix and Disney Plus, on-demand television through services like All4 and Amazon Prime Video, videos on websites like YouTube, or videos or DVDs. So the big question is, what's the BBC going to try and push? I personally think they'll try and make us pay for the television license to watch stuff that they put out on YouTube, which means that Britain could be penalised, Paul, to pay for everything, even stuff that we're watching abroad.
What they'll do is when you go on to the iPlayer, they have that thing about, do you have a TV license? You just go yes or no, whatever you want to do with it. But then if you don't have one, if you're not registered, then you have to do the QR code, all that kind of nonsense. So what they'll do is on YouTube for their live programming, they'll have some way of blocking it, and you have to put in your barcode or your password or something to get into it to prove you have a TV license, probably. Yeah. I'd imagine something like that, like they do with the iPlayer.
It's concerning, though, for me, because I just think they're so desperate to retain the license fee. They're not looking at the serious options of how to get rid of it, how to replace it. And I've said many times on Who's Views, they have the iPlayer, and I don't understand why they don't turn it into a subscription service, not in the UK, but out of the UK, because we know from a fact that people from outside the UK are getting into the iPlayer and watching shows already. So charge them for it and make it into a proper streaming service. I don't understand that. You know, I understand why they're trying to get to the kids for many, many reasons. I understand what they're doing. Oh, yes, I do. But I would be very careful, because if they're going to come along and get the government, and believe it or not, I reckon this particular government would play ball with the BBC and change the law.
Yeah. And then you turn again the week after.
Yeah, hopefully. T-Bean's with us. Problem being is with us. Hello, mate. I've hidden the BBC channel from my own and will actively set it up to stop YouTube from suggesting them. I refuse any engagement. They will not get me to pay a license fee. We've got Robert Payne saying to us, the BBC doesn't want to be accountable to business forces or profit and loss. That's BBC Studios, though. They have to take the good and the bad, like any business does. I wonder if they're making a loss at the moment. PT Musac, they could advertise in between programs rather than inside the program. They are so snobby, though, PT Musac, they won't. That's the whole point about it. And we've also had politicians coming out from both Labour and Conservative and the Liberals. But, you know, they've come out to basically say, oh, we can't allow the BBC to have advertising. It won't be the same. That's the whole point. It needs to change.
It's an institution. It should be locked up. Yeah. So.
Yeah, exactly. Tsunami is saying to us, Paul, you can't have advertising on the BBC because the BBC board and Channel 4 is owned by the government. That's the other thing about this. Channel 4 also gets some of the money from the public, the British taxpayer. So we're paying twice effectively.
Yeah.
I don't see YouTube, though, in all honesty. Obviously, they have such a worldwide market. What the BBC contribute to them potentially is going to be nothing compared to their massive domination worldwide of all this kind of channel. You know what I mean? So I think there's no way they're going to make that much money from the BBC. They'll get something, but it won't be exclusive. It'll just be their little bit of programming that they give them, which is not an awful lot, is it, to be honest?
No. And the other thing that I find quite ignorant about the BBC, and there's lots of it, I can assure you, is they forget that the foreign markets don't give a toss about the BBC. A lot of our viewers, we always are introduced the license fee to them. We have to tell them about the restrictions. Because apparently abroad, you can just go and buy a television from a supermarket, plug it in and start watching it.
So would it? I mean, that's a bizarre thing, isn't it? If YouTube were doing this, is really weird. I know they can do it, I suppose, like the streaming channels, that you're limited to the territory you're in. So, for instance, in the UK, if you have a license, you wouldn't have to. You'd have to have the license to watch it on YouTube. But if you're in America and you're watching on YouTube, then you maybe have to pay a subscription to that tiny minority of the BBC programming. Then,
yeah,
potentially, yeah.
So this is going to be very
through
interesting.
YouTube. Yeah.
This is going to be very interesting when the BBC confirm this, because this is happening. I absolutely believe that the Financial Times got this right, and this is going to happen. And I think the effect it's going to have on future Doctor Who is massive. Because if this is happening, people like the Doctor Who production team, the execs, will be aware of it because it's in their industry. They would have been briefed. They'll know what's going on, and they'll be looking at how to exploit YouTube worldwide. This is where BBC Studios will come into it. They'll probably manage it with a partner as well as YouTube, won't they? And be able to say, right, how do we get the sales revenue correct so that we're earning a lot of money? Now, with something like Doctor Who, if it's done correctly, if Doctor Who's done correctly, that could be huge for the BBC.
Yeah.
Best thing would be if Elon Musk staged a takeover of Alphabet. Then the BBC would not know what the hell to do.
BBC wouldn't know with them, would they? McCoy would have a bit.
But if they'd already gone in with them, imagine them trying to consciously uncouple.
Yeah.
It'd be great, wouldn't it?
I mean, this is the thing about business. Sometimes you have to work with people you don't want to work with in business, and you get over it. You've got to, don't start me. Heretic is saying, I have YouTube Premium. Even if I cancelled all subscription, I would still keep YouTube Premium. I can't go back. It lapsed twice, and my eldest was moody because of the ads. I bet they were, yeah. That's the other thing about it as well, isn't it? The youngsters don't understand necessarily the adverts as well. They just want to watch their kiddie show, though. I
feel the same. It's like when you get the advert for holidays, like is it that scene? Is it 2E or whatever it is? It goes all the time. God's sake!
Oh gosh, yeah.
I stand that, yeah.
Yes, and obviously, if they want to send us free tickets to go somewhere for that plug, please do. We've got that from Stephen O'Neill. Apparently, the excuse for BBC not carrying adverts is that ITV, Channel 4 and Channel 5 would object to it affecting their revenue and are currently petitioning the government about this. This is where I think, shut up. Channel 4 is still getting some of the public purse, a la license fee. They're getting some of the money. I've never agreed with that. Privatise Channel 4. I was all for that when the Tories backed out on it years ago. Do you remember? They were going to privatise Channel 4. I was all for it. Yeah. Put the money that the public are putting into Channel 4, which is crap, into something else worthwhile, like housing or the NHS or something like that. And they pulled out. I was so angry at them. But the whole thing about this is, they're not getting, Channel 4's doing okay. Channel 5's doing okay, but it's not getting huge amounts. None of them are. None of them are getting, YouTube is getting more viewers than they are. Gosh, wouldn't it be weird if it, like in the article, it suggested that the BBC and IT Channel 4 merged? Wouldn't that be weird?
Yeah, it'd be very weird.
That would change our landscape a little bit. Thanks, Stephen. PB is saying to us, if the BBC forces YouTube watchers and content creators alike to pay for a TV license, isn't that forcing their competitors to fund them? That surely goes against US antitrust laws. That could change everything. We are a British channel, content creators. This could affect us. I don't have a BBC television license. Don't want anything to do with them. Don't want anything to do with them.
Can I ask something? It's just something occurred to me there, and maybe I'm being really stupid, but it would be a first. Is the Channel 4 and BBC have funding they get from the public, but how come Channel 4 can have advertising and the BBC can't?
Well, this is the question, isn't it?
How does that work?
Yeah, because when Channel 4 was set up, it was set up through the Independent Broadcasting Authority, as it was.
Yeah.
Whereas the BBC was established, wasn't it? So I think that's where the argument from the BBC would fall down, because if Channel 4 can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah.
So again, I think it's pure snobbishness from the BBC. Yeah. We don't want to have it is.
I think it is, because somebody previously, I can't remember who it was, so whoever it was, sorry, but said that the UK TV channels pay some of their advertising revenue to the BBC. And so they're not, if they were against advertising, they would reject any income from advertising revenue, but they don't. They'll take it They just don't want it on their 2 main channels or 4 main channels, isn't it? God's sake. And it is just pure snobbishness. Absolutely.
Yeah. I can't see any other reason for it. And it's a huge example of why the BBC hasn't moved with the times, and why one of the reasons it's in the mess it's in, apart from the fact it's being taken over by alleged activists from the far left. I think that's the only reason. That's the only thing I can think of. Just take the bloody adverts and shut up.
Yeah.
Lex has given us a super chat saying, iPlayer has put on all the Hunger Games. You're far too late. You absolutely are. The Hunger Games movies of, oh God, how many of them are there? 4 or whatever. They're out there already. Netflix had them for ages, and Amazon Prime has allegedly had them. All these other places have had them. This is the problem with the British setup when compared to everywhere else. And it's no wonder that people outside the UK get confused with our system, because it's based on a model from decades ago.
Well, the BBC can't compete anymore, can they, to be honest? Because even like their sporting events like rugby and stuff like that have gone to other channels as well. So they're losing out on really main event TV, aren't they? So it's really, they can't compete anymore, can they? Let's be honest.
No. And that's why I think they're looking at YouTube. And it takes me back to what Nerdrotic did with the Spock dolly sitting there. It's about the content as well.
Yeah.
For Nerdrotic to do something as tongue-in-cheek and as hilarious as he did do, with the Spock dolly, and getting as many people watching nothing, showed an awful lot about what he's built on his channel, because the community were talking. They were watching this dolly, but they were all talking in the chat because it's a live stream.
Yeah.
Right? Star Trek spend anywhere allegedly between 6 to 10 million per episode. That's dollars. $6 to $10 million per episode, and get less than his dolly on YouTube. There's a big discussion or a big learning curve there. Will it work? Will people go and watch something like the BBC or Paramount?
Yeah. When they'd rather watch paint dry as we were covering. Yeah. So
yeah. The PVFS wants to know, how can they even tell what you're watching? They can't, basically, PVFS. But what the BBC do is that anything you're watching, they just assume that everybody watches television. How can you prove that? I mean, I don't watch television personally. The only reason I've got the television is because, well, it's hard to break that habit, but I'll watch it for Blu-rays.
Yeah.
Blu-ray. But now what they're trying to do is saying, well, if you're watching on a phone or a laptop, or if you have a phone or a laptop or a handheld device or whatever you want to call them, we will assume you're watching us, and you have to have a license to do it. It's utter desperation, guys, isn't it, from the BBC?
It's almost like that assumption of guilt, isn't it, which goes against everything. Well, I was going to say allegedly everything in this country, but not if Starmer gets his way. Everybody's going to be guilty until proven innocent, aren't they? But it's like that. They're going to assume you're doing it, and then it's for you to prove you're not. Yeah. Which is the wrong way around.
Which is costing the taxpayer millions if we had to do that. Can you imagine how many of us would have to go to court? It's exhausting. It also affects what the Labour Party is always looking at: anxiety, your mental health levels, all this nonsense. Well, it's not nonsense. It's actually real. But it's going to push up your anxiety levels. It's going to mess with your mind, isn't it? Hartnell's Ghost is saying, JT and Co., up until around about 1990, when a television was sold in the UK, the retailer was legally obliged to get a name and address to forward to TV licensing. Do you know Hartnell's Ghost? I remember that. And I thought this was me getting it mixed up, because I remember getting a television from Comet years ago, guys, in the early 90s. And I got one of those big bulky tellies that you couldn't carry on your own. Do you know what I mean? Huge width things. And I remember them taking my name and address and sending it off to the license fee people. I remember that, thinking, right, okay, the less is going to come through, blah, 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 blah. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I'd forgotten that, but yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Hartnell's Ghost. You're absolutely right. That's the other reason. We didn't have a choice. You bought a telly, you were slapped immediately with the license. Not all YouTube videos are live, says Matthew Poundett. Great point. How's the BBC going to get around that?
Yeah.
They can't.
Absolutely right. This was filmed in 1982. It's only going out now. People think it's live.
Yeah. This is a repeat, obviously.
I I'm not going to read this out from the core of sci-fi fantasy, but again, it's a dig at the BBC. So hurrah!
Now then,
quite happy to show that because they forget about things like that, don't they? And think they are white of the white. Oh, sorry, probably not allowed to say that these days. Probably ist, but they do. They really annoy me. Envoy from Mirror City. Hello to you. I noticed in your previous shows, and it's happening in this one too, little snippets get repeated, a bit like an echo. Are you having a tech problem? No idea. The three of us are on different technical setups. So I've no idea, mate. I don't know. You have to bear with us. We're not in a studio. We're not together. I would love to, but there's no way I can do that. We all live in different parts of the United Kingdom as well. So sorry about that, Envoy, but hopefully it's not disturbing your enjoyment of our show too much. Toonami is saying to us, that's what I do, but the license fee has to stay because of Channel 4 is owned by the government. Both the BBC boards, Channel 4 and ITV has rejected advertising. Then they're all shooting themselves in the foot, aren't they? Because they're all as bad as each other.
Yeah.
Tall Paul is saying to us, I remember a DJ called Tall Paul back in the day. I don't know what iPlayer is, but the BBC has BritBox streaming service in the USA and other countries that works like Netflix. Basically, Tall Paul, what the iPlayer is, it's the BBC's repeat service, if you like, but it's an online service that the license fee covers here in the UK. And if you miss a show broadcast on any of the BBC channels or a radio show, even on any of the BBC network radios, you can go allegedly to the iPlayer, look it up and watch it again. That's what it is. It's a catch-up service.
And however, it's an archive thing as well, like
yes,
with Netflix now. Could they have Doctor Who on there, for example, from the beginning, apart from An Earthly Child, obviously? But,
yes. Yeah.
And they also show live, don't they? They also show
well, this
live
is what
as well. So
they've started to diverse Tall Paul in the last 15 or so years, and they tried with live shows, or they would put certain shows on before it was shown on BBC One. Depending on the show, that went down very well. But they've never known really what to do with the iPlayer because none of them understand business. None of them understand business. It's very clear to me what they should do with the bloody thing. Charge for it.
Well, they've got a massive archive, what's left of it, of programs they could put on there, loads of programs, and then if they're worried about offending people, put a disclaimer before it, and this was made 1973, blah, 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 whatever, and just put everything on there, because they've got such a fantastic collection of classic shows, classic TV, which should be on there.
And radio.
And radio, yeah.
From, we've got loads going. I mean, the BBC's radio archives are more or less intact.
Yeah.
I think, more or less. There's the odd thing that's missing.
Yeah.
But it's more or less there. I mean, you go back you go past the 40s, and I suppose you're going to lose things, aren't you, really? Because the BBC is so old. Over 100
I think for Tall Paul, if he's in America, we wouldn't obviously advocate it, of course. But I think what other people do, which the BBC hasn't done anything to stop, is other people get VPNs, don't they, and tell it that they're operating from the UK, and then they just go to that. Well, my understanding is that they then go to the BBC website, don't they, and go through to iPlayer, and then they have to tick a box, don't they? Do you have a TV license? There's no. If you do, put your TV license serial number in, because they could do that, but they don't. So people just tick yes, and they get access to everything. And I've just checked it up there. There's a program that they're advertising called "Can You Keep a Secret with Dawn French?" And it's got
comedy.
It's got her that played Yaz in it, and she's playing the part of a policewoman.
Yeah. No imagination there. Yeah.
Typecasting or what?
Yeah. No. This is an interesting subject, but I guarantee you, Doctor Who's going to be in the mix at some point when it comes to any deal between the BBC and YouTube. Something will happen to that Doctor Who BBC channel here on the Tube of Who. It's going to be interesting to see. Chris, thank you for your super chat. What pay-to-view would produce pay for Doctor Who? Something like that was suggested in the Wilderness years, I seem to remember, where certain fans were saying you should pay for the programs you watch, and Doctor Who would earn its keep, really. Do you remember that, guys? There was something about that in the back of my head there.
I do remember someone saying, it may have been a certain film collector who helped save some of missing episodes, that Doctor Who produced enough revenue outside the programming for merchandising, etc., which covered the cost of the program. But the BBC have never done that, have they? They never actually put money back into it from revenue they made from outside the program. Yeah. Maybe from sales from abroad, but not from merchandise, have they? You know,
they certainly didn't in the original days, did they?
Yeah,
Not at all. And it seems like these days they're more interested in partnerships that can give them easy money rather than earning the money. And certainly the merchandise, in my opinion, these days is so tatty and crap. It wouldn't be making the money to produce an episode, never mind a series. Tony Graydon is saying the Star Trek franchise looks like a money siphoning enterprise to me. See what you did there. But so is Doctor Who now. It's all about the money making. We've talked about it before on our shows. It's now, Peter Capaldi mentioned it in the interview we covered on our show last week. It's become a money making exercise rather than the creative one, basically.
Well, they must have made millions from when it was popular, when Tennant did it with all the merchandise you got, with all the toys and everything else. They must have made a fortune from that.
Yeah. You know? And of course, they were also making healthy products when the bloody thing was off the air for 15 years, thanks to the videos, the books, and then later on the DVDs and the audios came about as well.
Yeah.
So it's always been, they've always known the BBC. They've got something massive with Doctor Who. They just don't know what to do with it. And then they trust somebody like RTD who messes it all up. Marie, thank you for your super chat. I don't have a license. I don't watch live TV. And I've got an email saying the license company was opening an investigation on me and sent someone to my house. That is ridiculous. Do not let them in.
Outrageous.
I don't watch television. I don't need it. And then do what I'm ready to do. Give them a bloody lecture on why you don't believe in the BBC and watch them run.
It's madness. It costs more money to send someone out to this lady's house to do something about it than it would to be a TV license. It's madness. It's like sending people to prison. It's nonsense. Yeah.
What they've done there, Paul, with Marie is threatened her.
Yeah.
And they have no right to. If you do not watch live television and you've told them, they should be backing off. But whatever you do not bring them into the house. There's a gentleman on YouTube that does some fantastic advice on how to deal with these people. I will try and remember who it is and put it in the comments box at some point.
The black belt barrister?
No, it's somebody else. I can't remember his name.
He does some very good ones. He does some very good ones.
Well, let's see if we can put some links down for everybody. But Marie, okay, don't let them in your house and don't be intimidated by them. If you don't watch live television, you don't need a TV license, you're not breaking the law. That's it. Right, Count 1978 is saying to us, JT, they will try it with YouTube, but it won't work. It's not enforceable unless they are planning on building a lot more prisons. No, the Labour Party are too busy building houses for illegal immigrants. They can't afford any more prisons. We've got here John, the computer doctor, saying to us, yes, when I was a self-employed TV engineer, when I sold a TV, I had to inform TV licensing of each sale. See, if you're outside the UK, this is ridiculous, isn't it? This is completely illogical to you.
Sounds police state, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely awful. And I remember Tall Paul JT, says PB. Yeah, he was fab, wasn't he? He was absolutely brilliant. I think I've got some of his CDs up in the loft. Stephen O'Neill is saying, you can have as many televisions as you want off the television license. That's the only upside of having a television license. Yeah, but you're paying for the crap they're churning out and thinks it's acceptable.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, newsreaders sneering at interviews and people they're interviewing or putting the finger up, or RTD coming out with this absolute nonsense.
Did you see the woman yesterday, JT?
I did.
On BBC.
Yeah.
With the musician. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely shocking. Just because he said he implied he was Christian.
Yeah.
Oh, these people.
Unreal.
It is unreal. It's absolutely shocking. Great to see you all in the chat about this. I hope we've brought you some information there to make you think, especially if you're in the UK. When the BBC confirm this, because I am sure this is a story that is absolutely going to be true. I'm sure they've gone to YouTube now to say in their heads, we need some of what they've got. We'll be talking about it more because it will absolutely affect future Doctor Who. Absolutely. And I think it'll start with the silly cartoon they're doing with the babies.
Yes.
And there'll be more from Nerdrotic with shots of toys of Doctor Who on the channel.
Yeah. Somebody said that. Was it Funky or somebody said that in the chat earlier, saying, well, JT put a picture of the giant robot Ernest Fisher model on a chair. Again, I mean, this is why I think this was absolute genius, because it proves a point, an absolute point. And I don't think the people at Paramount will in any way, shape, or form take any notice of it. They'll be aware of it, but they're carrying on. Apparently, Series 2 of Star Trek Starfleet Academy has already been commissioned. Again, doing what the BBC did with Disney, with Doctor Who. We're commissioning the second of the series. The second series is going to be made at the first time of the first. Never mind what the reaction is.
Whether you want it or not.
Whether you want it or not, you're going to get it. Absolutely incredible. Goodness me. As I say, we're going to be looking at all that as it comes through. It's great to see you all. Thank you for joining us on the 18th of January for Headlines here. If you want to talk to us a bit more about this, then please do. You can always email me. Don't forget, you can email me at whosviews1@gmail.com. Please do get in touch. My fingers are a bit sore for the reasons you'll all know about. I've got this story coming up for you now. You probably would have missed this over Christmas, but in case you've got some money left over from Christmas, the Doctor Who online auction is coming in 2026 in partnership with Prop Store. Oh, yes, it is. They're doing it again, as Whovians worldwide are invited to bid on over 200 costumes and props from the series between the 3rd and 19th of February this year. BBC Studios has announced an exclusive Doctor Who online auction in partnership with auction house Prop Store. Running from the 3rd of February to the 19th of February, the event will give fans globally the opportunity to own a piece of television history. With bids starting at £100, the auction will feature over 200 iconic props and costumes spanning the show's rich legacy. Registration for the auction it has opened on the Prop Store website, and out of 200 lots, bidders will have the chance to own the bronze Time War Dalek. The popular design of the Doctor's most terrifying foes was first introduced in 2005 and has appeared in multiple episodes since. This specific Dalek was used in Smith's final series opener, Asylum of the Daleks. 20% of the net hammer price will go to the BBC Children in Need to help make a difference to the lives of children and young people in communities across the UK. The remaining funds will help BBC Studios reinvest in the storage and preservation of thousands of historic Doctor Who props and costumes that they haven't sold, ensuring the show's heritage is protected for future generations. Doctor Who is built on the passion of its fans. And this auction is a way to celebrate that connection, said Sarah Bold, Head of Marketing, Global Brands and Licensing, BBC Studios. By bidding, fans not only bring home a piece of television history, they also help us protect and preserve the incredible legacy of Doctor Who for future generations while supporting the BBC's Children in Need. Prop Store is honoured to support BBC Children in Need with another Doctor Who auction, said Stephen Lane, founder and CEO at Prop Store. The 2025 Doctor Who charity sale earlier last year, and the response from fans was incredible. This new auction brings an even stronger selection, and we're excited to see it raise even more for such an important cause. Doctor Who has always been a wonderful friend to BBC Children in Need, and we're delighted to see the Whovian community come together once again, says Tommy Nagra, Director of Content of BBC Children in Need. Their support helps raise vital funds to make lives lighter for children and young people across the UK. Right, so that's in case you've got some pennies down the back of the sofa.
Has the Whovian community come together for this? Have we? Have we?
Who's left? Who can afford the stuff that they're going to be going for? A certain age group they told to bugger off.
Yeah.
You know?
Because that bronze Dalek will be going for what, 10 grand at least, probably, will it?
I hate to think. I hate to think. Problem being saying to us here, the passion of the fans that they ignore and vilify at every opportunity. Yes, they want money. They want money. You know, and they're ready to kiss our arse, basically. Sliver Wolves are saying to us, protecting the heritage of Doctor Who by selling their stuff off. You can't make this sort of stuff up.
Well, it's safer with us than with them, let's be honest.
That is absolutely true. It'll be a lot safer, definitely. But
yeah. We've got this from the Jason Parker as well, saying, ugh, Children in Need, aka Another Corpse charity. Now, this is what gets me about as well. Children in Need has adapted over the 40 years it's been going. It's changed an awful lot. And when I found out that a certain amount of money was going to support TQ cult charities, no, not for me. I wouldn't give another penny to Children in Need. I want to know where it's all going. And here, some of these charities are going into schools or youth groups and telling kids they're born in the wrong body. You know, and I couldn't put my money to that. There's no thing. I mean, gosh, it's very dodgy, as most of these charities are. And they don't necessarily say everywhere that I've never seen anything, Paul, Ian, that lists where all the money is going to. And certainly if I saw something like that, I wouldn't be happy.
Well, I'm surprised there's any money left after they've paid all the celebs' fees for
all
the
our
show.
execs.
Yeah, and all the execs. And what's left?
Yeah.
20 quid or something?
I feel Children in Need is, I think it's a toxic brand, and it's tarred with the same brush as Comic Relief, that other BBC con job, where you're looked at as being a white saviour, according to the likes of Lammy, and then they saw all their donations go through the floor, quite rightly. I think there are better charities out there, better than Children in Need, better.
And they're
than
usually
Comic
local, Ian, aren't they?
Yeah.
Local charities are probably the better ones as well, or people that are doing things without the politics around them and don't get as much attention because they're not hitting the DEI clipboard because they're just doing the work that bloody well needs to be done. Yeah.
Give to charities that support your local hospitals. Give to charities that support your local children's groups and things like that. Keep it local, and then you've got an element of control, and you can actually see something in your community that's being done. I'm not aware, of ever seeing anything anywhere near where I've lived ever that's been funded or part funded by money raised by Children in Need. Just not aware of anything. And that's like over 40 years.
No. I mean, I can't even watch the television broadcast, the telethon, as we used to call it back in the days, because it's bloody awful. Yeah. It's changed so much now, isn't it? And again, the BBC's obsession with DEI ruins the whole thing. It has to have 400 presenters on it, each one ticking a bloody box. I can't be done with it. So anyway, if you're out there and you want to buy a prop from Doctor Who, it's your choice. If you've got the money, good luck to you. You can get all the details from the BBC's website, but it's up to you. Congratulations if you get something on that. Oh, I don't know. The world is crazy, guys. I sometimes want to get off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Certainly at the moment, yes, it's gone really crazy. Let's be honest. Yeah,
it really has. Robert Payne is saying the Children in Need telethon makes the raw variety performance look classy. I haven't watched that either for years, tell you.
It was tolerable when it was fronted by Wogan. He had at least a style,
But you not think back in, I mean, we're going to sound like old crones now, but back in those days, there was a decency. Yeah, but there was a decency to the BBC. There was a decency to what they were doing. We believed in what they were doing. We trusted the BBC to put the money into the charities around the United Kingdom that they have done. Is that trust still there today? I don't think so, personally. No. Especially with people cancelling their license fees. And also the whole show, it doesn't pull in as much viewers as everything else does it? Because we're just not watching it. This is the other reason they'll want to get onto YouTube.
Yeah.
It's interesting times, everybody. Interesting times. But I guarantee you, as I said before, Doctor Who will be very much in the mix with whatever is going on with the BBC right now. Stay with us. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us for this show. Third Doctor Ian, Paul, thank you so much as ever for all your opinions on this. I think we've done some great stories tonight, actually, and it's been a cracking conversation.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. Great fun, as always.
Good. We will be celebrating 60 years of Star Trek on this channel. Proper Star Trek, just like proper Doctor Who. We're going to be reviewing the movies starting in a couple of weeks with the motion picture. Okay, we're going to be doing one movie a month. We're also, hopefully during the summer, going to be looking at episodes of the original series, as they now call it. The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. That's it. That's it. That's all we're going to be looking at. We're not going to go anywhere near the modern crap, just like we don't like to go near the modern crap for Doctor Who. What has happened to science fiction? It's absolutely awful. Shocking times that we're living through. Sad days indeed, Ian. From Third Doctor Ian, from Paul, from myself, thank you for joining us. Thank you for all your messages. Thank you for your chat. Thank you for your support. We'll see you again soon. Make sure you've rung that bell. We're going to be looking on Wednesday live here on the channel at The Wheel in Space as our review. Looking forward to that. Come and join us. 8 o'clock live on Wednesday. Until then, thanks for joining us. Ta-ra, everyone.
Get everyone. Bye-bye.
Cheers.